It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
It is Monday, June the 10th. Good morning.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just kick it off by saying happy birthday to Marley Gorman? 22 years old today.
How about that?
Oh, the young Binky. That's what I've always called her. She's just B to me for no reason.
Sure.
Just, hey, B.
It happens.
Don't know where it came from. Doesn't really matter. But gosh, I love that kid. Happy birthday. She is not listening. She's sound asleep in Virginia. That's how that goes.
Well, maybe somebody will tell her.
It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's going to be a beautiful Monday all day in the Twin Cities and the surrounding area. And I would imagine that extends to Anoka. Probably going to be a great day up there.
I think so.
Don't know if it could possibly be as nice a day as it was on Saturday.
It was a nice day. I liked it. Yeah, it was a good day. What'd you guys do?
Well, I actually, this is crazy. I went up to Anoka and I just bounced around a bunch of local establishments.
I was going to try and make it, but I got sidetracked.
You got sidetracked so hard you forgot you were there. That is a good sidetrack. And it was fun. It was great. We went up there. We hit the road. We hit Serums at 2:00, and then people just kept putting beer in my hand. And then the next thing you know, I was home and I was in a great mood.
I know. It was one of those weird days. Weird morning, a Sunday morning. I got up to check how much damage had been done and went, I did spent very little money. A couple of Uber rides. That was it.
That was it. Thanks to everybody who came out. And boy, that was by everybody. I mean, that's a lot of folks. It was nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
What a great town.
That's a charming town.
Yeah, just all
historic and fun.
And whatever this whole Halloween thing is, I guess I'm going to have to investigate that at some point, too. They must really do it right there.
So many couples I talked to, because I'd ask them how they met, and a lot of them were Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, they met at Halloween gatherings in Anoka.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. It's the Halloween capital of the world, my friend.
It's a great way to meet people because everyone's wearing a mask, and then by the time you realize, wow, it's too late.
I made a terrible mistake. Yeah. Now I'm going to pay for it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you've judged this person on their personality and the way they make you feel, and then they take the mask off, and you're like, okay, we'll deal with it. That's fine. No, it was fantastic. That was I would imagine that's the first of we got to find anywhere that's got the social district, anywhere where you're just like bouncing around like that, and something tells me there's more than a handful, whether it's official or not. You know what I mean? I'm feeling sociable.
Acapulco
works.
Have
Let's
a great
do that.
one down there.
We could totally. I could completely imagine us in Acapulco.
Yeah, something fun.
I've got the appropriate footwear already. Just got to buy some more shorts. Togs, I believe people might call them.
Yeah.
Great weekend otherwise. Did anyone see what the Twins did yesterday? The Minnesota Twins had the rarest of all final scores, 12-5 in 10 innings.
Crazy.
Completely insane in Pittsburgh. Okay, real quick, Zepp.
Yeah.
We know you're a Steelers fan. Were you ever a Pirates fan? Did it ever cross over to that? It was
I wasn't supposed to be a Steelers fan. I just jumped the Appalachian Mountain Range for the Steelers. I was born on the east side, Phillies, 76ers.
Got it. Okay.
All the Flyers, and then the Pittsburgh Steelers because it was the 70s, and the Eagles were losing a bunch of games with somebody called Roman Gabriel.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I decided to be a Steelers fan as a young man. But, took it to the Pirates. In fact, here's what that sounded like in the 10th.
There we go. Our goal lines one into right center field. Farmer will score easily as this ball goes all the way to the wall. Margot around second on his way to third. And a triple for Manny Margot puts Minnesota in front in the 10th.
Oh my gosh. He's got every right to be frustrated like that. Like, what are we doing there?
Byron Buxton just crushed with a pitch.
You got yourself an RBI. You're on first base.
And didn't leave the field. Took his base.
There we go.
Fair ball down the line. Buxton scores. Jeffers will score. Santana into second with a double. And Minnesota has a 4-run lead. And Correa pounds one through. Santana being waved home. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Correa down to second on the throw. He drives in two more. The Twins have 6 in the 10th. Kepler squirts one the other way, and that's a base hit. Correa around third will score without a throw. It's 11-4.
There you go.
Just when the door opens, sometimes the horse just runs right out.
No kidding.
And that's exactly what happened with the Twins yesterday. Yeah. I saw something over the weekend. College baseball is also happening, and I was unaware of this. Have you ever seen the Texas A&M? College baseball is hilarious because it's got everything regular like professional baseball doesn't, which is chants and cheers and songs, and the players in the dugouts do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah,
it's way more fan friendly, like a college experience you would expect, where the fans are involved. Anyway, Texas A&M, they have a ball 5 thing. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
They're playing, if the opposing pitcher walks someone on 4 straight pitches, they all start chanting ball 5 before the next pitch. And if he throws a ball, then they move to ball 6. And they do it in unison. Ball 7, ball 7, ball 8, ball 8, and they count. And it really shakes pitchers. Because in baseball, you're not used to a crowd like in football or basketball chanting at you to throw you off.
That's true.
There's videos of it, and it's hilarious. And they'll run a pitcher into 12 or 13 straight balls. And you watch these guys just melt on the mound.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Just to watch somebody crumple like that and mentally, be destroyed.
Yeah, life-changing stuff. It's great. It's really, really fantastic.
The essence of sports.
He's just a young man, probably 20, 21 at most, and you just watch him just literally like want to
give up the game in front of there on the mound.
His life's greatest passion just melts right in front of all of us. It's always fun. It's always fun. NBA Finals. Celtics are up 2-0. Timberwolves learned a valuable lesson, which is just put a tall guy who's really mobile on Kyrie Irving. Jaden McDaniels must be sitting at home going, "Why didn't I just guard him the whole time?"
That was a fun game.
It was a fun game. But the Celtics are certainly giving. I would imagine every team in the West is just going, "We would have matched up great with Boston, including Minnesota." But hey, man, that's how that goes. NHL, the Stanley Cup. Haven't seen 1 second of it, but I understand Miami's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't. I just catch the highlights. Sports Center, what Sports Center spits out, I've been catching that a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, when your team doesn't even make the playoffs, I mean, it feels like so long. So much time has passed.
It was the middle of April, when the Wild wrapped it up, fizzled out. So yeah, it just kind of takes the wind out of your sails. I hung with it for a little bit, but then the Rangers were out, and I was like,
yeah, whatever.
Miami's in it, or Florida, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. So as we were in Anoka over the weekend, and we had a good time, there were some conversations I had with some folks that were really lovely.
Yeah.
And there was a few things that I was like, I'm sorry, what? Just because conversations in bars, people say things, then you gotta wait, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Almost always I don't, because I just in crowded rooms, I'm reading lips a lot of times. But every now and again, someone just says a really bizarre thing to you, and it got me thinking about, people say weird things to you in general, anywhere in life. And I imagine we all have a few. For instance, in case you're wondering, maybe go back almost 30 years. REM had a very, very big hit song in the 90s called What's the Frequency, Kenneth? And if you're not familiar with where that comes from, you might be surprised. Bizarre things people have said to strangers on the street. Let's go there. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. Billy Idol was cast by James Cameron to be in Terminator 2. The 1991 long-awaited sequel to Terminator. He was supposed to be the cop Terminator, the guy who comes back, dresses as the LA cop, and melts into liquid metal and then reassembles himself. That was supposed to be Billy Idol.
Yeah.
Was literally given the gig, and then Billy crashed his motorcycle and was laid up for months fixing a messed up leg, and he missed out on it.
He's no Terminator, or he would have just put himself back together.
See, that's the thing. It's like he was miscast, clearly. No, a little brittle bone disease guy up there instead of, somebody who can just melt and reform.
Yeah, he would have nailed that. He had the look, and there was no acting required.
No, just got to get that blank expression.
Right.
There was a lot of running, though. I don't know if Billy could run quite as well as Robert Patrick.
I don't know. I've ever seen him. I've seen him skip across stage. He does that Billy Idol skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's just one of those things. We'll never know. We will never.
He was in the doors.
I mentioned something about bizarre things that strangers have say to you. Any number of places you can be, and somebody just walks up and starts having a conversation, and you're like, I'm sorry. Are we having this conversation? Do you think I'm someone else? And I always go back to Dan Rather. As in CBS News anchor, the guy that replaced Cronkite, the guy that's still kicking. Dan Rather, in 1986, was walking down the street in New York City, and a gentleman walked up and basically mugged him, like shoved him down and started kicking him. And he was saying over and over, Kenneth, what's the frequency? Kenneth, what is the frequency? So as weird. He kicks Dan Rather. Yeah. I remember reading about that when it happened. Like, what a bizarre thing. And then almost a decade later, I remember hearing, here's the new single from R.E.M., and the song was called What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Right. And right away, because I'm a weird guy who remembers all sorts of nonsense that really doesn't matter, I was like, hey, that's that Dan Rather thing.
Sure.
What's the frequency, Kenneth? Yeah, this song, huge hit from the album Monster.
I didn't know about the Dan Rather story until after I heard the song, and then it was, I don't know, MTV was probably still doing music news back then. Whoever was, came on and said, well, the Dan Rather incident. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about?
So it was... it was a big song for R.E.M. and it was a global hit, et cetera, et cetera. And the whole time I always thought, what does Dan Rather think about this? Like, you punks! I'm trying to forget the fact that I got mugged in the streets of New York City by a weirdo.
Anytime you bring up Dan Rather's name, Dan Rather loves it.
That's probably very true. The guy who did that about 11 years later ran into NBC News and was yelling about the frequencies that he was arrested. I mean, they found him over a decade later. He was still saying, you're injecting information waves into my brain. I mean, just clearly a nut job.
Aluminum foil hat.
Yeah. Pretty much. Right.
Pretty much.
And he's right.
It does make sense that, by the way, fun fact about the song, What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Yeah. It slows down towards the end. Like, the more you listen, it sort of falls apart. It just gets lower. Guitarist Peter Buck said, well, the truth is, Mike, our bassist, slowed down the pace, and then we all followed. And then I noticed he looked strange. Turns out he had appendicitis. We had to rush him to the hospital, and then we never wound up redoing it.
Hey,
in mid-take, his appendix burst. It's great. That's rock and roll, baby. But there's so many. Now people have said strange things to strangers. For as long as there's been strangers.
Yeah.
I like this one. I'm dressed as a human today. That's someone wrote it. Like I was walking. Someone walked by and just looked at them and said, "I'm dressed as a human today."
Those are the kind of things that scare the crap out of you. The real crazy things. You're like, all right, they're crazy people on the streets, but that's borderline crazy. That's the one that just keeps you scratching your head all day long.
Here's one on a list. I was walking my dogs. A guy hesitantly passed us. He turned around and then shouted, "Your dogs are racist." And I mentioned that because I had a gentleman say the exact same thing to me. Your dog is a racist.
No.
Yeah.
Chauncey?
No,
this
is Clementine. This is going back. This is going back about 30 years.
Well, I didn't know Clementine.
Clementine, who was a large 100-pound black lab Rottweiler 50-50 mix. The greatest dog ever. And was on our front yard.
Chauncey's sitting right there.
I know. He's asleep. We had an elevated front yard, like a little wall around. So if you're walking on the sidewalk, like my grass was like waist level. You know what I mean? Like there's a wall. You walk by a little bungalow in Midtown Atlanta. Thank you. Retaining wall.
I thought you said your grass was waist level.
No. Sorry. I kept it tight, baby.
Right.
I used to care about yard work.
All right.
No, but a guy was just walking down the sidewalk, and our dog Clementine just standing there as she does, keeping guard over her castle. And the gentleman just looked up, and obviously he was a little off-putting. He had a bizarre gait, and he just got the dog's attention. He was not walking normally, and he was just very animated. And any dog is going to go like, "Yo, what's up with this guy? This is not normal." So Clementine stood up, and so now she's staring like at eye level, and this is a 100-pound dog. It looks like a Rottweiler from hell without the cute markings, solid black, with a lab head. And the guy just stopped, and he took one step back, and he screamed, "You get that racist dog away from me!" And I'm like, "Racist dog? You're walking around like a nut job." The story ended with he he had an umbrella, like a big umbrella, and he said, "I'm going to smack that dog with this umbrella."
No, you're not.
And I said, "I wouldn't do that if I were you. I'm on my front porch watching."
Yeah.
And he did. He just took it. It was and it was a big, and he just whacked her right across the face with it. Which was like saying, she felt it like the way just like a fly landed on her. And she lunged and landed on top of him. He went down, and she stood. I mean, then I was up, whoa, but she just about did him in. Yeah, she's a great dog. It's like, dude, just walk past. She wouldn't have stood up if you hadn't stopped.
Well, is it raining now, mister?
I was at and this is another one I remembered. I was at the vet. I was with Zelda, still not Chauncey. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, we have other dogs before you.
Right.
I'm at the vet. I'm in the waiting area with Zelda, our previous dog, and there's a cat that lived at the veterinarian's office. Like it just walked around. It was
house cat,
unafraid of any animal. And there was another customer waiting with her animal, and the house cat comes walking in between us. And I'm in a bench, she's in a bench. It comes walking down like the aisle, if you will, if you want to picture it. And this other woman sitting there, she looks at me and goes, "What kind of cat is that?" And I looked at her, I go, "I'm sorry?" She goes, "What kind of cat is that?" And I said, "Oh, I have no idea." And she goes, "You don't know?"
What?
And I went, and I looked at her and I go, "What do you think I work here?" And she goes, "You don't know what kind of cat that is."
Yeah.
And I looked at her, I said, whatever I'm doing that makes you think I want to have this conversation, tell me so I can stop doing it.
Please have a punchline.
I go, "How would I know what kind of cat this is?"
Yeah.
I said, "Do you see this dog I'm with? I'm just like you. My dog's a patient."
Yeah.
And this woman just glared at me for 5 minutes, just was angry.
Yeah.
And fun fact, it was Amy Grant, the country singer. I'm not kidding. That's who it was.
The cat?
The woman yelling at me and freaking out was Amy Grant. And I was like, "What kind of pills are you on?"
Was it?
I'm not making this up.
I thought you were just totally
and then I
jabbing
realized,
us.
like, hey, wait a minute. This is like a celebrity sighting and crazy street person all in one.
Oh, what?
Was it some kind of unique cat? I mean, I can name two cats:
it was just
a tabby
cat.
and a calico.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Or like a Maine Coon. You kind of see that they're big and really fluffy.
Maybe too many Christmas albums for Amy.
I
just
could
went
have
off
been.
her-
I don't know.
off the deep end.
That was a really wild one.
Yeah.
I mean, any come to mind? You ever had somebody just walk up to you that not a drunk guy at a bar, but just somebody like this? Someone was walking my dog. A lady approached, leaned in close, and she whispered, "They're listening through the trees," and then just walked away like nothing happened.
Are you single? I was going down to the IDS Tower downtown here in Minneapolis. I think most people know that one day to do a voiceover. And so I park and I'm walking in the front of the building, and sure enough, there's the old homeless guy out front, sans trench coat, very stereotypical, and he's preaching it. He's saying it. He's got the Bible in his hand, and he's just shouting right out into the middle of the street at no one, and I'm approaching on his left. And as I get close to take my right into the building, he stops what he's saying, spins, points right at me, and makes eye contact and says, "And sodomy." And it was, very uncomfortable. And, I hit a little close to home.
You
because
said,
that's what I was thinking about at the time.
You were wearing yoga pants, weren't you?
Clearly, he has, with that aluminum hat, I was wearing yoga pants. And I caught him following me up the escalator later. I'm like, "Buddy, back off." But that was pretty weird. That stuck with me all the way upstairs.
Weird. Tony, you got to have one. I mean, you've seen aliens. I mean, you've seen UFOs.
I have many of them. For some reason, people like to say odd things to me, but a lot of it happens on campus, yes. And I had one guy just walk by, stopped, looked at me, and started chanting, "Time for wheat thins." Time for wheat thins. So I joined in for,
well, sure.
20 seconds. And
it's catchy.
Went on my way. And off
I like
went.
that.
And no wheat thins.
Yeah.
You never know where it's going to come
It's a
from.
fiber thing.
I was excited about it.
We've all had a few, I'm sure, that we could share. There's other things going on today, especially out in Hollywood. It's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report in just a few minutes. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, June the 10th. It's time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report.
Hey, good morning, Steve, Zepp, Tony. Good morning, all of KQRS country. Did you go to any movies this weekend? I'm going to talk about one. And remember, tomorrow's the time you want to make sure you go to the movie, because Marcus Theaters every Tuesday, just $6 gets you in to see any movie at Marcus Theater, the best movie chain in the country. We start off with big news. Is it true? P. Diddy has been asked to give up his passport. And more details about the multiple investigations and grand jury decision, I hear, is coming very soon. Stay tuned. Happy to report that apparently he's back. Will Smith has apparently secured a jump start to his career, which I talked about on Friday with his latest Bad Boys movie. Man, it made $56 million domestically and a whopping $103 million worldwide. Of course, we do remember how desperate Will Smith has been, so desperate to get publicity. You remember when he sucker punched Chris Rock during the Oscars because Chris made some silly little joke about Jada. Of course, that is Will's wife, but of course, Jada and Will haven't slept or lived together for over a decade, so I don't know what that was all about except to get some publicity. Jerk party of one. Strictly my opinion, but George Lopez was in concert playing to over 1,000 fans at a California casino over the weekend when he stormed off stage and left when a few hecklers started heckling him. I thought comedians are supposed to be able to handle that, or the security. Well, of course, I left over 1,000 people who paid good hard money just out of luck. Reminds me of the old story when George Lopez was dying and needed a kidney transplant in 2005, and his wife gave him one of her kidneys. And to thank her, George quickly divorced her. I'll just leave it at that. More TV news. This is old news, but I got new news about the old news. As you know, after 4 decades, host Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak, has hung it up. You know, Pat will be spending a lot of time in Hawaii. His best friend, who served with him in Vietnam, right next to him for all those years they were in Vietnam, is a guy named Joe Moore, who has been the CBS News anchor in Honolulu for equally a long period of time, about 37 years. And while on vacations, Pat Sajak and Joe Moore got together and have appeared together in plays, local plays in Honolulu, and they love doing it. And they plan to do a lot more now that Pat has more time. By the way, when Pat isn't in Hawaii, he lives in Beverly Hills, less than 5 miles from Vanna White. And over the years, they have often bumped into each other at the Trader Joe's on Wilshire Boulevard in Santa Monica. And that reminds me, Vanna White has just bought a fabulous new home in Palm Springs. She says it'll be her mainstay. Steve, as you know, they record 12 Wheel of Fortunes in just 2 days, so she'll have plenty of time to bounce back and forth between the desert and Beverly Hills. And in case you missed it, Pat Sajak will be replaced by the one and only one-trick pony, Ryan Seacrest. Hey, have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Mike Evans, see ya.
There's the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. How about right now we take a quick look back. June 10th, 1944, the Cincinnati Reds put in a relief pitcher named Joe Nuxhall. Interesting. He eventually would become an all-star. He was a broadcaster for years. At the time of this appearance, he was 15 years old, the youngest player in Major League Baseball history.
No kidding.
15 out there at a time when men were men. 1944. I don't.
Boys were men. Apparently.
Apparently
boys
so.
2 men.
On this day in 1975, the New York Yankees were playing in Shea Stadium as Yankee Stadium was undergoing renovations. And on this day, they hosted a big shindig for the 200th anniversary of the U.S. Army, which is 1774 on this day, or 75, excuse me, on this day. So they had a 21-gun salute in the outfield before the game that involved cannons, and somehow something went awry and they blew a hole in the outfield wall and lit the whole damn thing on fire. But hey, it was Shea Stadium, so whatever. They're the Yankees. They
sounds like an Army operation.
They went ahead and played the game with a giant with no wall in center field for a section. You just got to get through it.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zepp, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, June the 10th. Good morning. But, there's just no way to ease into this one. We shared this story last year. A guy in Houston, a 60-year-old gentleman wearing a kilt, walked into several antique stores and was noticed on security video grabbing items off of display shelves. Again, just an antique store, a little mom-and-pop antique store. Things like a tobacco tent can, an antique bottle opener, a hairbrush.
Yeah.
And he was putting them, as they say, up the six. He was literally inserting items into his rectum and then removing them from his rectum and then putting them back.
Yeah, that's a weird. That's not even a fetish. That's like some sort of hate crime. This is the news audio from one of the antique store owners.
Remember when I was disgusted that night? One of the dealers sent me a video that she had from a camera in her own booth. I think they've been in here before. The employees recognized them and said they were just, the guy was really nice and she was nice, and they just shopped around for a few hours.
What did they do with those products?
They threw them away mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah, you just adjust the price.
If it's
knock it down a couple.
It adds to that patina to it, doesn't it? If it has that ass smell as well, it must be very antique-y. I don't ever trust, if it's not the middle of March, don't trust anyone in a kilt, period. If you're not in, Scotland or it's the middle of March somewhere, they come in a kilt and stay for a few hours at your antique store. They're putting stuff up their butt.
Just beware.
I've spent some time in Houston. I'm surprised he made it halfway down a block wearing a kilt, and it wasn't March 17th myself.
This has confused some people.
I said, you know what? I apologize to the gentleman's name is Mitchell Vest. I said hairbrush. I'm sorry. It was a makeup brush. My bad. My bad.
Well, what about the bottle opener, for crying out loud?
Yeah.
This is not a comfortable, when I think of things, if I had to, on a dare, or Ryder offered me a lot of money, like $50. What? It wouldn't be a bottle opener.
Well, he finally came in front of the judge. He did plead guilty because it was his first offense. He's got 12 months probation.
It wasn't his first offense. It was, all right. Well, 12 months probation. It's
first time busted anyway.
Nothing. I didn't read the story, this most recent story. Anything, any motive?
No motive, but it does offer this. He lives in an area called the Woodlands, a Houston suburb. I know what the Woodlands is. There's a venue in the Woodlands. Yeah. That's pretty Tony little area. He owns a $600,000 home. He's so, I had no idea what. I mean, literally, what we could sit here all day and speculate on why a man wants to do things like that. There's just, thank God he's been caught and removed from the streets, at least put on probation.
We've had several nurses call into the KQ Morning Show and talk about the population that does this. The number of almost one emergency room nurse on the KQ Talk and Text line said almost every day. But this isn't at home being curious, experimenting. This is a whole different level of he wants to put it in the butt and then back on the shelf. Yeah. He's angry or I don't know what that is.
He just wants to share. He doesn't know. Maybe he's just trying to get in touch with his feelings and he wants to express himself.
The old antique enema.
Yeah, not really too sure about that. Over the weekend in Oregon, we're just going to move on because I can't talk about stuff up this guy's six anymore. A rodeo going on in Oregon, the 84th Sisters Rodeo in the city of Sisters, Oregon. A couple things happened simultaneously. One, the entire crowd had a sing-along to Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA.
Yeah.
So you just picture a rodeo crowd and everyone's singing full voice. And as that was happening, a rodeo bull got loose in the pen as people are singing God Bless the USA.
Yeah.
It feels like something you'd see on a Simpsons episode and then of course the bull you hear people on that audio, they're going, come on, man, jump, get over. Well, the bull eventually does jump out of the pen, hops a fence, runs through a concession area and into the parking lot. And before the Wranglers caught up to it, he injured at least 3 people.
Yeah.
And I see this video and I just picture, it's like watching a Ford Pinto jump over a wall into the crowd, except it's a Ford Pinto in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And I just see that and I'm like, you got to be kidding. I didn't know the rodeo was such a dangerous place to be.
Well, it's a little bit like NASCAR. You see a tire or a hood go flying up over the fence every once in a while. It's not, out of the ordinary. It does happen. I will say it's never happened at a rodeo I've been at, and I grew up, my sister rodeoed, ran barrels and poles and all that. Thad Bothwell, my cousin, world-ranked rodeo rider. His son Tanner currently out riding bulls right now. But so bulls do go into the stands. I would say it's probably not that uncommon, and it's a time to go get a beer. When a bull goes in the stand, you go get a beer.
This is how stands time for a beer.
Yeah, better go get a beer. There's a bull in the stand. I'm not going to stick around for that. Are you guys familiar with cowboy pinball?
I am just now second seeing cowboy pinball for the first time. I don't have a lot of rodeo experience. I've been to one, so that's not a lot.
Maybe we'll get this going out at the Hamill Rodeo this summer. This would be fun. It's when I tell people go, oh, there's a bull in here. I'm like, just go to YouTube and punch in cowboy pinball, and it will blow your mind for $100. And this isn't out of the ordinary. This happens from time to time. They draw a bunch of circles out there in the dirt, and you get a dozen or more, maybe 20 people out there, and you have to stand in your circle. Then they cut a bull loose, one of those big bull riding bulls. And they cut them loose out there all pissed off, and everybody looks like a clown to them. Yeah. And so here's the deal. The last person that leaves their circle, whether the bull pitches you 20 feet in the air or stomps you into the ground, or you just pee your pants and run for a fence, the last person standing in their circle wins $100.
I am watching a group of people just in street clothes, men and women, and they are just in a ring, and they're being knocked around like it looks like bowling ball pins. They're just getting this bull is just running rampant, hitting civilians. Who needs $100 that bad?
I don't. Not for 1,000. Maybe if there were. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. I'd have to be drunk too. But yeah, that's. So at a rodeo, you get some beer going, you get some patriotism going, you get the big bulls out there, and people just kind of lose it, I guess, a little bit. Cowboy pinball.
Here's something kind of great. You just sent me a video of rodeo of cowboy pinball. It's from Owensboro, Kentucky. That is from the Sports Center in Owensboro, I have played that venue.
Oh,
yeah. I have been right
set
there.
A bull loose while you guys were playing.
No, but obviously they certainly could have. I would imagine they probably had. They had the ability. They just thankfully decided not to pursue that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is intense, man.
That's red, white, and blue fun right there, brother.
That is red, white, and blue fun. Speaking of bizarre things with animals, do you remember the story from 1970 in Oregon, on the West Coast, on the beach in a town called Florence? A 45-foot sperm whale washed upon the shore. It beached itself and was dead. And it was just laying out there. The Oregon Highway Division decided they had to take care of this 45-foot whale one way or the other. And somebody decided, and nobody said, no, that's a bad idea. Somebody decided to just load it up with dynamite and blast this thing to kingdom come.
I didn't get much news when I was a kid, but this was one where Dad went, boys, get in here. You got to see this.
And so boom goes the dynamite.
He let us stay up till 10 o'clock, and we got to watch it again, I believe, on the CBS Nightly News. You guys want to hear the news story? This is, I love it. Just get a bunch of dynamite. So they've got the big dead whale. It's been sitting out there for a couple of days. It's starting to stink up the joint. It's not going back out with the tide, so get the dynamite.
Well, I'm confident that it'll work. The only thing is we're not sure just exactly how much explosives it'll take to disintegrate this thing, so the scavengers, seagulls and crabs and whatnot can clean it up. Our camera stopped rolling immediately after the blast. The humor of the entire situation suddenly gave way to a run for survival as huge chunks of whale blubber fell everywhere. A parked car over a quarter of a mile from the blast site was the target of one large chunk. The passenger compartment literally smashed. Everyone on the scene was covered with small particles of dead whale.
Car a quarter of a mile away. Just when you get a chance, walk a quarter of a mile. And that's about a, 80-pound piece of blubber.
Chunk of blubber.
Totaled her car.
That's
They're lucky
a lot
no
of
one was killed.
That's a lot of candles.
Right.
That's a whole lot of winter light.
Oh, that's beautiful, baby.
He was angry that day, my friends.
Why we are mentioning this today is because now a humpback whale has washed up on the shore in Oregon again all these years later.
Get the dynamite.
And the Oregon State Parks Agency, right away, as soon as the story broke, immediately had a message for everybody out there, which was, we're not going to do that again 50-some-odd years later.
Doggone it. You know people want to see it. Heck, just let it sit there. The 4th of July is right around the corner. Blow that sucker up with fireworks in the background. Cue up that Lee Greenwood song. That's what I'm talking about.
History isn't repeating itself. That's the message they wanted to share with the world. And of course, now they could put it to a vote. Just let the people decide. Should we blow up another? The whale's already dead. It's not cruel.
No.
It's just going to rot in the sun. It's going to be nasty. And now, with everybody having the ability to video this on their own, and we'd get way better angles. Get some drones involved.
Get a safe distance. Get a safe distance, that you do when you properly blast something. I love that. In the Army, the first thing they teach you is this little equation, how far you've got to be when you blow something up, your safe distance.
Very
apparently,
important.
the guys with all the dynamite blowing up a whale, the camera was like 20 or 30 feet away, maybe a little further than that. But people were just standing around watching that whale get blowed up.
Yeah, that's still one of the all-time I love the after that went down. Again, this is 54 years ago, but the debrief where everybody from the commission gets together and they're like, so Carl, this was your idea, right? Well, but I did stress that we probably need to make sure I
told him it was too much dynamite.
Yeah, so you just basically, Carl, you just wanted to blow something up. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much just wanted to blow something up.
You live and you learn.
Who can blame him? What else are you going to do? You can't you can't take it back out to sea. You can't chop it up into. There's no chainsaws that are going to work its way through a 45-foot whale.
Right, you can't let that thing sit out there all summer long. Good Lord, the stench.
The funniest part of it to me, though, is the fact that they truly did think they would disintegrate. That's the word he uses. Well, we're going to disintegrate this whale. No, you're really
maybe
not.
Maybe with a nuclear bomb or something.
You're not getting close to that. We were talking earlier in the show. Bizarre comments strangers have come up to you and said on the street or elsewhere. If you want to share one with us, hit us on the talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. On the KQRS Facebook page, Alicia writes, I was walking through the streets of Prague, Czech Republic, near our Airbnb at night with my husband and young kids when I was approached by a well-dressed gentleman who asked me if I had some cocaine he could have.
All right, just have.
What's even crazier is that we actually got really sick that trip and couldn't find any over-the-counter medicine. Never mind cocaine. So crazy.
I like that he approaches a family. Well, obviously, the family is going to be packing some cocaine.
Kathy White writes, I had a lady tell me how brave I was for going out with my hair looking like that.
Oh, you.
Now, that's just
Come on. That's uncalled for.
That's that's a compliment, kinda?
Very backhanded,
Boy, you're brave.
I think.
Really, really nicely done. Bizarre things strangers have said. Let's have them. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, June the 10th. Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones. I remember the first time I ever heard that song.
Yeah.
I was dead asleep, a mid-afternoon nap, and I was a kid. And my brother put on the album Hot Rocks, which that song was featured on, I believe.
Okay.
And the fact that his younger brother was asleep in the same room didn't get in his way at all.
No.
He wanted to hear the song.
Never does.
And so, you know how there's moments like as you're coming out of a dream and something, I was hearing those woo, woo, shoes in my dream, and they were like pursuing me and chasing me. It turned into a nightmare, and I couldn't get away from that noise. And then I finally sat up, and I was like, "What is that song?" I hated that song with every fiber of my being for years. It like tortured me and traumatized me.
Sounds
and then
pretty heavy, man.
It was really disturbing. And then I just had a thing.
Was probably the idea.
If that song was on, I was out of the room. And then one day, I guess it finally passed because I was just listening to it going, man, nice job, fellas. There's a documentary film about the making of that track. Like they're being filmed the whole time. And it starts off as like a completely different song. It takes you through the course of how much a song can change from some basic idea to finalized, completed thing.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It goes by a couple names, but if you just Google Sympathy for the Devil documentary, it's like an hour-long thing. It's great. It's on YouTube.
Right. So I'm going to check that out this afternoon.
Strange things people have said to you on the KQRS Facebook post. A lot of comments. Nancy wrote, walking through one of the Smithsonians, and a guy was following my daughter and I, dressed as Jesus, muttering blessings and beatitudes. Security had to pick him up and carry him out. He was calm, as you would expect Jesus to be.
Well, what if it was Jesus?
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time people didn't take him seriously.
Nance, you're going to hell.
Some random person, this is David, some random person called me the prophet. I just kept getting on the bus. If you want to have some conversations with strangers, get on a Greyhound bus and go anywhere. I've spent a lot of time on those, on both Greyhound and Trailways back in the day, and you never get off that bus without a conversation you just can't believe is happening. That's just how that goes.
I'm stopped in I'm on the KQ Facebook post, Destiny Faith. I love that. That's her name, Destiny Faith, if that is her real name. Maybe it's just a handle. I don't know. But to buy my hair for $500 and to buy my breast milk after giving birth. People are weird.
I would say.
That is weird.
Clint wrote, someone downtown asked me for directions to Mount Rushmore. Zepp, you could probably give those directions.
West.
Look up.
Go west.
Just go west.
Yeah. Point north and then take a left and keep driving.
Linda writes, not on the street, but I was in the lady products section, and a woman next to me pointed at the tampons and said, I stuffed those in my husband's mouth to keep him quiet. Okay.
It's a good icebreaker.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, why not?
It's like the waste of a good tampon, but...
I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, they make them every day.
I was in Germany once, and a guy came right up to me, and he said, would you like to go to the park and take your clothes off? And I said, no, I wouldn't actually. That actually didn't happen. But I have been in Germany, and in public parks in Germany, a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
A lot of nudity. In Munich specifically, there's a place called the English Garden. It's a huge park. It's beautiful, great ponds, and they don't sculpt it and manicure it like the way an American park would be. So sometimes the grass can be like knee high in sections, and then other places it's a little mowed. But on a beautiful summer day, there's beer gardens and there's all kinds of great stuff. It's a massive, massive park. And I was astonished the first time at how many people are just laying out completely nude.
Yeah.
A lot of nudists in Germany have been for decades. I mean, goes back to the 1800s, a real serious thing with nudism in Germany. And now apparently the numbers are falling.
Uh-oh.
An organization that's the German Association for Free Body Culture. The Free Body Culture, a group from Germany, they are telling their members they're going to be celebrating in August to mark the anniversary of its creation, but they're in a bit of a tizzy because the numbers are down from 65,000 official members 25 years ago. Now they're under 34,000. They're just about cut in half. This is one of the more liberal countries in the world for public nudity. There are sections of every park everywhere in the country just for naturists, nudists, if you will.
Yeah.
But apparently the younger generations, because of TikTok and Instagram and everyone's got a camera everywhere they go, it's just been dwindling ever since. Now, in the early 90s, if you had a camera, it was a camera.
Yeah.
You risked being told, like, hey, dude, put your camera away.
Somebody
but
would
now
come over and tear the film out of it in very dramatic fashion.
Of course they would. And they would say, and then they would tell you, he's using the wrong film anyway, fool. Yeah. But no, now, of course, with phones and cameras and everything. But there's another thing going on with German youth, which is because of TikTok and Instagram. And there's now way more kids grow up, as they do around the world, with an idea of what the body's supposed to look like as opposed to what it is.
Yeah.
And so people are just not nearly as happy to be walking around nude.
Well, yeah, with all my buddies in Sturgis, I have several that just quit going because it was boobs galore. It was clothing optional Sturgis, and women just walked around freely topless until they started showing up on social media, and then they came home and found out that their realty business probably didn't like them being topless in Sturgis, so they started covering up, and no one can have fun anymore.
It was interesting to my idea of German culture, of course, based on nothing to do with reality, but just movies I've seen, mostly about World War II. So and then and then first time I was in Germany for any amount of time on tour, I was like, well, I love it here. People are great, really friendly, warm as could be, the whole thing. And the nudity thing, which is very prevalent, like I say, you just see naked people in parks all the time.
Naked commercials. I saw a naked milk commercial. A woman was pouring it down her body onto her breast, and I went, oh, this is a bar that shows porn? They said, that's a milk commercial, you pervert. And I was like, oh.
But it was always surprising, not just topless women, but I mean full-on nude. The number of men you see, and they're just walking, across the, I think I want to lay over by that tree now. And they get up, and there's Hans and Franz just swinging freely.
Not a designated area for nudity?
No.
Well, if there is, it's a very large section of the park. You can be on a bicycle or just walking, and you don't know where the designated area is not. You're just like, hey, look at all the ass. It's just like people are walking around naked everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have expected that. And the hotel sauna and hot tub scene in German hotels, and I don't mean like 5 stars. I mean, you go to a Holiday Inn, they have the best sauna scene ever. But there's you walk into there's the pool, like an indoor pool, and then off of the side of the pool you have dry sauna, wet sauna, cold plunge, hot shower, cold shower. There's just a whole series of things to do. And there's a bar, and people are walking around drinking like Weiss beers in between sauna rounds. It's a whole, just a wellness routine. And you will just walk into this area, and it's just like there's 130 naked people all drinking beer and hanging out and talking, and it's really, really astonishing.
I feel like I sort of got cheated in Anoka on Saturday.
Not the same thing.
Let's take the Anoka social district to the nude district. Yeah, if we could walk around naked down Jackson Street in Anoka. By the end of our visit, we could have had a few people go with us. If we had, I don't think it would have. We wouldn't have had to twist a lot of arms.
Just needed somebody to start it. That's all.
Right. I did not expose myself in the parking ramp. I know that.
No, I did my best to keep that from happening to myself.
Yeah.
So sorry. Sorry to see that the German nude scene is on the wane.
Yeah, that's. I hope that doesn't tense things up. I don't like to see tense Germans. So keep it light and naked in Germany.
No,
please.
We want them to just be happy, smile.
Yeah, get naked, beer.
Keep the Weiss beer flowing, please. What it reminds me of.
Who's walking around taking pictures of naked people? Come on, the internet is full of them. All right,
stupid tourists.
Just Google naked people. Yeah. There's 1 billion pictures on your phone. Let people have their fun. That's just weird. They're naked, but you're the weirdo for filming them.
That's very true. That reminds me of there's a Simpsons episode when Sideshow Bob's on the stand and he's talking about the prosecutor says, but you wrote on graffiti, die Bart, die. And he goes, oh no, it was the German article the. I was writing the Bart, the. And one of the jurors goes, well, anybody who speaks German would never hurt another human. It's just like this total side swipe about,
well, they've got to live with it a bit longer yet.
Yeah, sure they do. So from nudity to prospective nudity, which would be dating profiles. Check this out. I again, missed out on the whole thing. Dating apps, dating sites, never been a part of any of it. Never had any of that in my life.
What fun.
But apparently apparently there's one thing that men can add to their profile that will get you almost 200% more matches. Immediately gets more people interested, and that is
a dick pic.
I'm a firefighter. Just mention that you're a firefighter and bang, bang. I mean, the women want to meet you.
Yeah, there is. That's a powerful thing. Yeah.
There's 3 things, actually, men can add to their profiles that get the most heat immediately. One, firefighter, right, which is easily proven wrong.
Yeah.
So I would suggest not really trying to don't drop that one down the fire pole.
Yeah.
That's just too simple. Being over 6'2" helps.
Right,
Another one that
2
can be easily disproven.
Yeah.
And the third one is making 6 figures a year. That you can lie about that one probably a little longer.
Yeah, you can get away with it for a little bit. Yeah, if you're just looking for a fling, if it gets more serious than that, then it's going to become obvious. Or if she comes back to your, studio efficiency, with your sofa bed or your, I don't know, what was the old things we used to use? I don't remember what they're called anymore, but we used to double as a bed.
The futon.
The futon, yeah, that was the thing for a while. Probably knows you're not making the 6 fig. That's tough. I mean, how's an average guy supposed to operate out there in the dating jungle?
I want to see a guy scramble. I want to see a 5'9.5" dude living in his parents' basement scramble out of that one.
Right.
You're a firefighter? Well, yeah, but I'm not supposed to tell anyone.
I mean, I would fight a fire. I've had candles tip over, and I threw a towel on it or something. Mm-hmm. Does that count as a firefighter?
See, there you go. You're already right there. Somebody listening is like, oh, yeah, good one, Zepp. Thanks. Appreciate that.
I'll use that.
But the 5 best things to add that are a lot more common.
Okay.
Having a car.
I'm back, baby. I'm in.
What, you don't like public transportation? Having a degree.
All right.
Describing yourself as, quote, very ambitious.
Ugh.
Easy. Not smoking.
Women want too much. They expect too much.
And here's number 5. What? I want kids. Say that you want kids.
All right. Lie your ass off, whatever it takes. You can figure it out later, I guess.
I really do want kids. That vasectomy I had has nothing to do with my unwillingness to procreate. Here's the weirdest one of this thing, though. For women, the best thing you can add to your profile, apparently, and again, this is a new study by there's Plenty of Fish is one of the dating apps.
For sure, yeah.
The best thing for women to add to immediately get a lot of attention is that you sell insurance.
That's
what?
You know what that means? That just means that a lot of women use that because you don't have to use anything. First of all, guys, don't read. I've been on Plenty of Fish, not reading crap, just looking at pictures. Just put the cute picture of yourself up and watch your inbox fill up. We're not reading anything.
I'm fascinated by the insurance sales part of this. I don't know what is there
because it's dependable.
I guess I feel protected if she sells insurance.
Yeah.
Maybe just less psychos in the insurance industry. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. That one's not something I ever sought out. But again, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong as a woman. You could literally put down, I'm a professional psycho or something like that.
I would think you could write literally, I'll drink you under the table.
Yeah,
let's go, sailor.
I mean, my God, that's it. That sounds like a fun challenge. I mean, men aren't picky. Women, we just heard the women's list, and for men, it's like insurance salesman. I don't know. Does that sound responsible? Yeah, we're guessing. Yeah.
Is insurance salesman just not intimidating? There's no way that you're freaking out if you're going on a date with somebody who sells insurance.
I don't know. With all the fraud in my,
that's a good point. That speaks to men having such grand insecurities that they would never admit to themselves or anyone else, and somehow they're like, well, she seems like she'd be kind of dull. I could probably carry the conversation with an insurance saleswoman.
Right. She might try and sell you some insurance, though.
Well, that's a bit of a buzzkill.
Insurance.
I mean, that's an automatic date number 2, isn't it?
Yeah,
I got to fill out some paperwork.
Sure, sounds good. I don't get that one. Like I said, I think that just sounds like a wild card because men do not read dating profiles or anything we read on your dating profile. If we think the picture is hot, it doesn't matter. You could literally put anything there, like a serial killer. Okay, sounds good. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll be the exception.
As long as you spell it CEREAL.
Kill it. Let's kill some Captain Crunch.
On the 92 KQRS Facebook page, what's the most bizarre thing a stranger has said to you on the street? Frank wrote, I got asked for an autograph thinking I was a certain actor at Copper Lantern Restaurant, so I signed. Ever been mistaken? Has anyone ever thought you were someone else, famous or not, like come up to you and literally gone like, oh, hey, Mike, geez, I haven't seen you in forever? Any of that?
No, I don't believe so, no.
When I was in college, I had a professor who was convinced that he'd had me in a class before. And he just came up and just, hey, how you been? Good to see you. And I'm like, who the hell's this guy? and as later it dawned on me, I'm like, oh, he probably had one of my brothers, because there's 3 of us that are going to the same university. Okay. And I asked them both, and they were like, no, I haven't even heard of that guy. I don't know what you're talking about. And I would see this guy in Cherry Hall was the name of the building, and I was going to my English 102 class, and I saw this guy probably 5 times that semester, and he would always make a point of coming over and just like catching up. Like, hey, so what's the... And I would just, same old. I never once stopped and said, I have no idea who you are, sir. I'm sorry, you're mistaken me. I just was like, I'm just going to keep going on with my life and hope this stops.
You have a doppelganger somewhere.
No, I must have. I must have had a doppelganger. Huh. Yeah, it's a weird one. The only other doppelganger situation I ever had, and this is weird to say because I'm like imagining why. Look, remember the movie The Sure Thing with John Cusack?
Yeah, definitely.
College road trip movie. They played that. My university used to have movies come in before they were released. They were free for students, and then you filled out a poll.
It was like test marketing.
Test marketing. Sure. They did a few of those. Vision Quest was a big one that came out early.
Yeah.
They showed The Sure Thing for a day, like 4 showings, and I went to see it, as did a bunch of other people. And for like a year, people, man, you're just like that guy in A Sure Thing. You look just like that guy. I had people telling me constantly, you look like John Cusack.
Wow. Really?
And I look at photos of myself from that time, and I'm like, yeah, in a dark room, the white guy, my nose is bigger, but other than that, that's about it. I never saw the similarity, but it happened repeatedly for a while after that movie came out. So anyway, the younger me and the younger Cusack apparently looked a lot alike.
All right,
not bad.
To drunk
that's
people
not bad.
in Kentucky.
Yeah, if you get a movie star thing going for you, why not?
I mean, maybe it was just all the drinking.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zepp, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning, Monday, June the 10th. Happy birthday, Marley Gorman. My daughter is 22 years old today.
Nice.
Yeah, it is
Double
nice. Second kid came along. 10:20ish a.m. delivery. By noon, I'm looking at the nurse in the hospital going, well, can we just leave? Can we just take her home now? Let's go. When our son was born 2 years earlier, I never wanted to leave the hospital. I would have stayed for a year if they'd let me. 2 years later, second kid, we're like, yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Whatever, I got that. I figured this part out. Let's go. It's like, wait a minute. It's not even. She was born at 10:30 a.m. and I got to wait a day.
I know.
Are you crazy?
I like the old days when dads didn't have to show up. You just went across the street, had a cigar, drank, got drunk.
I would have been fine.
Saw
with
your
that.
kid like 2 weeks later.
I did have a great early days with Marley in the house. The 2002 World Cup happened right around that time, and it was co-hosted by Japan and South Korea.
Well, who could forget it?
So all the games were on, and we were living in Los Angeles, like midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m. The games were overnight. And I was like, sweet, I'll just get up with the baby and watch soccer. And Rosemary was so like, thank you so much, honey.
Yes.
Because you got a 2-year-old and a baby in the house. Sleep is, few and far between. And I was getting all the points. I mean, blue ribbons and love and just nothing short of admiration.
Nice.
And then one night, I believe it was the U.S. playing Mexico, and I yelled so loud that Rosemary woke up and came out into the den like, what? What's going on? And Marley is sound asleep on the sofa, all surrounded by pillows, laying on her back, sound asleep. And I'm I'm jumping around the room, and she looks at me, she's like, I cannot believe you. I'm like, look, it's on. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you got busted.
Am I not supposed to watch the World Cup? Oh, come on.
Yes. I mean, sit there quietly with your baby in the dark. I thought you were going to say instead of throwing the remote, you threw Marley against the wall.
That might explain it. Oh, I kid. Hey, so we've got Celeste Barber coming to town June 20th at the State Theater. Very funny woman, and we've got tickets we would love to give away. We're going to play ourselves a game. Little kid or drunk adult, we've all been both. Let's see who's going to pick up these Celeste Barber tickets. Contestant number 1 is... Shane, I believe. Can we get Shane on the horn? Are you with us, Shane?
Hello.
Shane, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, are you ready to play little kid or drunk adult?
You betcha.
All right,
I love it.
Shane, before we start the game, I do need to let everybody know we've lost caller number 2, so we do need someone else to call right now, 651-989-ROCK, and get in on the game. 651-989-ROCK. Call in and compete against Shane from Hopkins. Shane, you were a little kid at one time in your life. I'm assuming you've also at one time in your life been a drunk adult.
Many times I've been a drunk adult in my life.
Attaboy. Well, then you, my friend, are in the right place. All right, I think we're ready to rock it with Shane. You know what we're doing here, right? You're familiar with the game?
A little bit. Somebody did something, and you got to say, did they do that when they were a kid or when they were an adult?
Yeah, we're going to play you a clip. Someone's confessing to something they've done, and then you tell us if it was little kid or drunk adult. It's that simple.
Okay.
You know, I was thinking some morning we should have just little kids and drunk adults play the game. Shane, here we go. You got it perfectly. You didn't get it a little bit. You got it a lot. It's just a scenario.
Sounds like you
here.
got like a 50-50 chance on this.
That's about right.
I certainly hope so.
Those would be the odds. Yeah.
If you're a drunk adult 50-50. Right now, if you happen to be a drunk adult right now, the odds could get longer. But for most people, it's 50-50.
All right, Shane, you're dialed in here. Let's see how you do. We're going to turn it over to David for scenario number 1.
I got detained by the police because I was jump roping naked on the side of the road.
All right. David was jump roping naked on the side of the road, but was he a little kid or a drunk adult, Shane?
That has to be a drunk adult.
Believe it or not, I was a drunk adult. I was drinking like I did back in my college days, blacked out. Then I don't know how it happened. I started jump roping in the street, stark naked.
Yeah.
Didn't get arrested, though. The cop who saw me there, he knew me, he knew my dad, and he drove me home.
Oh, that was decent of him.
I'll be honest, I was hoping it was little kid. Because, there's just a certain point in life. Once the grapes drop, you just don't need to be jump roping naked anywhere, especially on the side of the road.
No, it sounds uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Well, Shane,
that sounds like a drunk adult stupid enough to do that. A kid's a little bit smarter, I think.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, Shane, you're 1 for 1. You're going to get 3 cracks at this. And just for the record, this is one of the harder games to play, as it turns out. So you're off on the right foot. Good luck, sir.
All right, Shane, this is Michelle. Listen carefully.
I threw up on a police officer.
All right, she threw up on a police officer, but as a drunk adult or a little kid?
That's a hard one. I'm going to say as a drunk adult.
So I was a kid. I got lost in the mall when I was a small child. The police found me a little while after. I was kind of wandering around the food court. And one of the officers, he picked me up, and I was so scared about everything that was just going on. I ended up puking right in this poor officer's face. He immediately dropped me to the ground, which obviously made me cry. And it was just really awful and embarrassing.
Oh, and professional. But yeah, just a scared little kid. Yeah. So you see how this, Shane, flip of the coin there. You know, that's it. You're 50-50. You're not going to win them all. All right, here we go. One more for you, Shane. 1 for 2. 2 for 3 is a winning hand, usually. Here we go. Little kid or drunk adult. This is Elise.
I bit an egg and cut my lip on an eggshell.
She bit an egg. Nothing serious. Just bit an egg, but cut her lip on the eggshell. Little kid or drunk adult?
Little kid.
So I was a little kid.
There you go.
I was trying to be like my big brother who was biting into eggshells. And I actually grabbed one and tried it first. And it didn't work. So I tried harder, which was a mistake because it totally slashed my lip, I was bleeding everywhere, and my brother got in trouble.
Yeah. The brother got in trouble. Yeah, don't ever try and imitate your little brother, ever. Oh,
yeah, that's a interesting story there.
Thank you, Shane.
Yes, it is.
I appreciate it. Well, you're sitting pretty good at 2 for 3.
You damn kids with those eggshells, stop biting them. It's a bizarre thing. Shane, 2 for 3 is great work on this game. As you just learned, it's not as easy as it might sound. So we're going to put you on hold here for a sec. Shane, sit tight. We've got a caller to play against Shane, correct?
We do. It's Josh from good old North Minneapolis.
Josh, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you a man who has been both a little kid and a drunk adult before?
Oh, of course.
Okay, all right. Hey, I hate to assume these things, Josh. So you know what we're doing here. Shane got 2 for 3. You're going to have to run the table if you want to win these tickets, or else we're going to a tiebreaker. Good luck, sir.
I'm going for the W.
All right, attaboy. Here we go. Josh, this is Shauna.
I got stuck in a storm drain.
She got stuck in a storm drain. But as a little kid or a drunk adult?
A drunk adult.
I was a little kid. My ball went down the storm drain, so obviously I went after it. I ended up getting stuck for over 6 hours, and the fire department and EMTs had to come in and save me.
Oh, yeah. Well, as your competitor said, it's a 50-50 proposition.
Oh, man.
You get the next couple and you've got the tie. You can still win this bad boy. You're
clearly had never read or seen it before she went into that storm drain.
No kidding.
Oh, my God.
No kidding. All right, Josh, this is Isaac.
I got hit by a Frito-Lay truck.
Got hit by a Frito-Lay truck as a little kid or a drunk adult?
Drunk adult? I was a drunk adult.
Yes.
I thought it was all right. I jumped on the Frito truck as it came towards me, and it hit me instead, and I spent 2 months in the hospital.
Yeah. Leapt for the Frito-Lay. We've all been there. Don't wait for it to get to you.
It's funny. I think we all immediately thought drunk adult because a kid knows get out of the way of the big truck. And a drunk adult is so drunk he sees the Frito-Lay and goes, I'm starving. This will be funny.
Like you're going to get Fritos out of the deal. All right.
All right, Josh, you're 1 for 2. This one will put you into a tiebreaker if you get it. Good luck.
All right, Josh. Angela.
I jumped in a pool, not realizing it had no water in it.
She jumped in the empty pool. Drunk or kid?
Kid.
I was a drunk adult. But
man.
Outside, I shattered my ankle, and because of the way I fell, I actually also fractured an orbital bone.
Oh, yeah. She got really busted up on that, as you might do.
To pick the deep
jumping
end.
in the empty pool. Damn it. I was going for the tiebreaker. I was pulling for you, man.
Yeah, Josh. Man, Josh coming in strong to save the day, but it just wasn't quite enough. 1 for 3. But it was a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. Shane, you are the winner today with 2 out of 3. You've just picked up 2 tickets to Celeste Barber, June 20th at the State Theater. Well done, sir. Thanks for playing.
Nice job.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
He's already texting people. Yeah. I'm telling people how I dominated the game. Yeah.
Celeste Barber, anybody? Yeah. Right on.
How about that?
That's a good game as per usual. The jump, that's not the first time we've heard about jumping into a pool with no water. And anytime I hear, I jumped into a pool. As soon as I know it's where it's going, I cringe every time. It's just such
I'm in Jamaica, and I was a drunk adult. And I decided to cannonball into the pool. I was one of those super resorts, so I'm all liquored up, and I'm like, I want to go cannonball into the pool. Yeah. It was a wading pool. And I bet it wasn't even 6 inches deep.
On the butt.
Tailbone first, brother. And then the gasp of people around the wading pool. And, of course, all eyes are fixed on you, so you got to be cool about it. I tried to be cool about it and got up like, yeah, that's right. While, I was thinking, I was in excruciating pain and thankfully fairly drunk. But, I had a hard time walking the rest of the trip I was there, but was able to limp back to the bar.
Did you yell cannonball, of course, before you did it?
I probably did. Yeah, I probably did.
Never jumped into a pool that didn't have water in it, but I did very famously in Gorman family lore. One summer, the first day the pool was open, this was the St. Andrews Swim Club pool we belonged to in Maryland. I was maybe 6 or 7. I mean, I'd already been swimming. I spent the previous summer literally on the swim team.
Yeah.
I was a swimmer, but I hadn't been in a pool since September. It's now June. First day of the pool, I get in there. I drop I take my shirt off, put my towel in a chair, and I just run. And I leap into the air, and I land in the water, and I completely froze and just started flailing around, screaming. I forgot how to swim. I panicked.
Oh, okay.
And the lifeguard, this guy who was the lifeguard's name was Ronnie Staines. I'll never forget that name. Just Ronnie Staines.
Yeah.
And he was he's probably 20, but he was the lifeguard every summer that I remember. And he was so he was the authority, and he's the guy who'd yell at you. So he just terrified me. He just reached in and grabbed me and threw me up on the side of the pool. And I was like, and he looked at me and goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "I forgot how to swim." And then I saw someone else swimming. I went, "Oh, right." And I jumped right back in.
Like that.
Yeah, just like that.
I was doing a backflip off the low board at the Woolsey pool and cracked my head on the back of the board.
Oh,
my flip, way too much flip there, and I knocked me out, and I'm sinking in the pool. I wake up, and I'm in the water, and I see that trail of red. My brother pulls me out of the pool. We had a lifeguard at the pool, and the lifeguard is standing on the edge of the pool, and one of the mothers, my mom wasn't there, comes running over and says, "Why didn't you get in the water and help him?" And he said, "I just put suntan lotion on." I just put on my...
No, of course.
Yeah, so thank you, Chris, for fishing me out of the pool, because I'm surprised Chris did. I'm sure Chris was thinking, finally, just let him sink to the bottom. But
I remember the first time taking our kids to a pool. We joined the little community pool when the kids were the summer they were 5 and 3, and and they were. So they're mostly, or 3-year-old definitely just in the little baby pool, and 5-year-old a little bit. They've taken swimming lessons. We're making sure they know what they're doing. But it's that first time it ever dawned on me, all the lifeguards of my youth were just teenagers.
Yeah.
It just really hit me, because I'm looking at these kids who were in the lifeguard chair, and I'm like, I'm not turning my back on this pool for 1 second. That kid's an idiot.
Yeah, right. He's working on a tan.
Yeah.
He's not coming in after me. You just put the lotion on.
You got the white nose with that zinc stuff they all put on there. Sure. And then just twizzling it. They'd have the whistle on the lanyard, and they just spin it over their hand all day long.
Yeah, and the best tan in town.
Yeah, I used to think that's, I'm going to do that one day. Never in a million years that I go for.
You forgot how to swim.
I had forgotten how to swim. So.
My mom saved my life when I was 2. I hopped in the pool, and she jumped in to rescue me, and she can't swim.
Oh, wow. Well,
I still remember the swirling waves, too, as I went in.
Really?
So did someone have to come in after you and Mom?
No. She did it. Superhuman strength.
Don't mess with moms.
I had a thing about jumping in pools. I used to jump in with my clothes on all the time.
Of course
Wiped out my grandparents. Everyone came running out because my sister said I was drowning. And they emptied out the whole restaurant. I was in my clothes. I just wanted to hop in.
He's
drowning
10 times.
He's drowning.
Yeah.
So let me get this
Weird
straight.
Kid.
You had a predisposition to jump into pools fully clothed.
Yes.
And also did a lot of streaking.
Right. Explain that.
Yeah.
I can't. We can only marvel in it, and
bizarre.
You are not a man for whom the status quo holds any fascination. Is what that is. I think what that tells me about you.
That's right,
man. That is fantastic. I have a buddy who grew up on Long Island, New York, right near the water. And he didn't learn to swim as a kid by design. His mom refused to let he and his sister learn how to swim. Her thinking was she was terrified of the water.
Right.
She said, well, if I don't teach them how to swim, they'll never get in the ocean. That way they'll never drown.
Wrong, Mom.
Oh, no.
That was literally...
What if they end up in the water? You live on... Yeah. Did you say they live in...
They lived on Long Island.
Okay.
He was, he grew up his whole life. The ocean, the Long Island Sound's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to the beach all summer, and he would go to the beach and just sit on the sand and never get in. And he didn't learn to swim till he was in his 40s, which is apparently a very, very difficult thing to do.
Okay.
At that age.
This came up the other day, not on the air, but learning to swim. So I've never had a swim lesson in my life. You move your arms and feet. Isn't it kind of natural? I mean, do you need a swim lesson?
Well,
it's not bad to have them, and you can swim better and become more efficient and learn some of those fancy moves or whatever. But ultimately, don't you just get in the water and move your arms and legs and you're swimming?
No.
No,
if you did,
that's what I did. Yeah.
You were watching people. You had probably some. You're a good athlete to begin with. There are plenty of people for whom that's not what happens.
They get in the water and do what? Don't move.
They just sink. They flail. You flail.
Flailing is swimming.
No, there's a very real.
Yeah,
there's like a
it is, as a matter of fact.
You can freeze just like
disagree all day long. You can freeze, but that's not swimming. If you're flailing, you're swimming.
But you won't move. You'll stay in one spot.
But I'm saying, if you freeze, you can sink, and then you breathe underwater. You get a lung full of water you're not going for.
All right.
Just saying. Instead of kicking sand in the face of all those people who can't swim, just be glad that you figured it out.
I'm just saying they're idiots.
Well, okay, that's
you
fine
can
too.
Swim. Somebody just told you can't. You need a swim lesson. You don't need a swim lesson. Today, go out and jump in the water. Prove me right.
Wow.
I dare you.
We need to come up with a corporate disclaimer for that one. say that in January. Don't say it in June. Somebody's like, I'll prove Zepp wrong. By the way, speaking of people are idiots, you ever read a story and you laugh at yourself and go, that's the dumbest thing in the world, and then you go, oh, wait, I did that too. Yeah, that just happened to me. I'll share my lunacy, my idiotic moment in a few minutes. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, June the 10th. Good morning. In a little while, about 30 minutes from now, we're going to be doing something a little unusual, a new thing. You know what the SATs are? We're going to be playing the F.A.T, the Father Aptitude Test. We're going to be doing this throughout the week in honor of Father's Day coming up. Father Aptitude Test. You're going to want to hear what this is all about. So hang tight. Trust me, it's going to be worth the wait. I mentioned before, you read a story sometimes and you laugh and go, what an idiot. And then you go, oh, wait, I did that. That was me. I've done that too. In Taylorsville, Utah. No idea where that is.
Salt Lake City area. It's a suburb of Salt Lake City.
Very nice. A young couple's about to get married last week. Over the weekend, they had a wedding scheduled for Saturday, I should say. So on Friday, they were getting ready to move, or they were in the process, I should say, of moving into their new place. Yeah. They got a wedding right around the corner. They're trying to get everything done. There's always that long list that gets more packed in, and you're running out of time. And at some point, they realized, well, we've got to move some furniture. Long story short, bride and groom-to-be put a king-size mattress in the back of his very large pickup truck, clearly, and they're going to run it across town. Dude looks at his bride-to-be and says, hey, why don't you lay on top of it to keep it from flying away?
No.
Okay, if a king-size mattress is going to fly away, as it's probably hanging over the side of your thing,
for sure,
your 107-pound girlfriend isn't going to do much good in that regard. But so here's the problem: the mattress did not fly away, but the bride did. Yeah, her quote was, after we took off, just a couple seconds later, and I just remember flying out.
Listen to her.
Ahead of wedding day, there can be a lot on your mind.
We were kind of time crunch.
That's because the next day, Alex and Lydia Kessinger were getting married. Wanting to get their new home ready and move their king-size mattress, they hopped in the truck, deciding to take back roads. Alex behind the wheel and Lydia laying on top of the mattress to keep it from flying away.
After we took off, just a couple seconds later, and I just remember flying out.
Alex recounting what he saw in his mirror.
I see the mattress falling down, and I see my fiance rolling down the street.
Taking a trip to the hospital to get patched up and a trip to the dentist. The next day, they still tied the knot.
He's an angel.
I'm just happy she married me still after that.
Right.
That's funny, isn't it? Sorry, honey.
I mean, her arm is bandaged she's in her wedding dress. She's got a big shiner. Her face is full of bandages. Her arm's completely bandaged, road rash.
You see, and you think to yourself, like, okay, first of all, dude, 50 miles an hour. Yeah. What are you thinking? You're going to take back roads to avoid the highway, so that means go like 20.
Yeah, right.
Put on the hazards. Go slow. 1982, my family's moving just cross town, one house to the next. And my brother and I decided, we had the exact same thing. He had a small pickup truck, and there was a mattress that fit right in the back. Yeah. And he said, just lay on it, and we'll get it across town. And I said, sure. And I hopped in the back of a pickup truck, and I am laying on this thing like spread eagle with my hands across this twin mattress on the sides of the truck. And he wasn't going very fast at all, but I recognized right away, like, this could end poorly. This could, like, he could hit a couple, if he goes over those railroad tracks and doesn't slow down, or hits any number of bumps, or gets to a certain speed, I'm going to be airborne. And thankfully, we were pulled over by a police officer who saw that and immediately pulled us over. He's like, the hell is wrong with you? Yeah. He just like yelled at my brother. You know, I'm a senior in high school. My brother's like a senior in college. And he's looking at him like, you idiot. And we're like, sorry, man, I wasn't going to go very fast. And the cop was laughing. And he's looking at me going like, you know, he's trying to kill you, right? You know? And yeah, I mean, it made perfect sense at the time until literally. But it's funny because she said, I just remember a couple seconds later, I was flying out. Yeah, it doesn't take long till you realize this was a really bad idea.
Yeah, we moving in college, moving a recliner. We got a bead on a recliner sitting out on someone's boulevard. We go over there, and it's in decent shape and doesn't smell too bad. So we throw it in the pickup. We don't have any tie downs. We're like, oh, should we... something to tie down. I said, no, just put the back to it all the way up against the cab of the bed of the truck, you know, so and that's like a wind block right there. Yeah. The wind's not going to hit it. It'll be fine. And Ed said, maybe I should sit in it. And I said, no, jump in the truck. It'll be fine. We're not, you know, we're just driving, but we get out on a road, probably going about 50 miles an hour, and we're zipping along. And Ed looks back and he goes, it's gone. I went, it's gone? How? And we look back, it's gone. We can't even see it in the rearview mirror. Drove back a couple of miles. We didn't even feel it or see it come off, but it was in probably 50 pieces out on the road. That we never got that recliner home, and I'm glad Ed wasn't sitting on it.
Yeah, that's great.
Because he did say, he goes, well, if I had been sitting on it, I said, yeah, right, then you'd be dead.
Yeah, you'd be gone.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked in the rearview mirror and seen a person that was previously in your vehicle, like in the road? Because I have.
I don't think so.
I have. I had a Dodge Dart back in the day, an old 73 Dodge Dart. Right. And the passenger door, you really had to pull it hard. I mean, if you wanted that door to shut, you had to put a lot of muscle into it. And one night, I was out at a bar with some buddies, and at the time, the bass player in my band, we were a local band, so this is like 1988, his girlfriend came in and said to me, she goes, hey, can anybody leaving anytime soon? And we said no. She goes, I just need a ride over to wherever her boyfriend, my bass player, was getting off work. It was like midnight. And then I, being a nice guy, said, yeah, I can run you over there. It's just like a mile away. I'll run you over. And here's the thing. I didn't like this girl at all. We had a run-in a year earlier before she was dating a guy in my band. And it was this whole thing, nothing with me and her like as a couple on any level, but we just had a real issue pop up that's not worth going into. But I detested this person.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
But now she's dating my bass player. I'm a team player. Okay, I'll take you over to where Scott is.
Took the high road.
I took the high road, and we went and I walked out, and we got in my car, and I pulled away from the curb, and she's sitting next to me talking, and as we approached a stoplight, it turned yellow, and I had to take a left turn. And so I accelerated because I'm not going to stop. And as I accelerated and turned left, all at one split second, I'm thinking, I didn't tell her to pull the door all the way, her passenger door. And she was actually sort of leaning against it, which made it even worse. And as I am hard into this left turn, I just feel a whoosh of air. Cold night. And that passenger door flies open. And as the whoosh of air comes in and I hear it, I mean, as I look to my right, there's already no one in the car with me. She's already gone. Yes. And I straighten the car, and I look in the rearview mirror, and she's just sprawled out in the street. And I just was like, oh my God, and I could tell she was already moving and trying to sit up, but I could tell, okay, she didn't crack her head open. Yeah. And I pull the car over, and I have to sit there for a second, and I'll just full on. I'm laughing so hard I can't. Yeah. And I'm like, this is terrible. She could have died. I mean, I could have killed her, but I'm like, but she deserves it. And so then I jump out and I go, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm walking back to her, and she was wearing like leopard print leggings, and both knees are just destroyed. And she's got skin knees, skin bump, but didn't hit her head anywhere. But elbows and knees are all skinned up, her palm a little bit, you know, because she went down hard. And I helped her.
She was understanding.
And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, I guess I didn't pull the door shut. I'm like, I can't believe that happened.
Idiot.
And what I didn't say was, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to remind everyone to pull the door with all the muscle you have. And I put her in the car and I race off to where her boyfriend is, and I help her in, and I'm like, dude, and I'm explaining to it, and he's like, oh my God, and I'm so sorry, and it's all okay. I drop her off, leave her, go back to the bar where I'd been with my friends, and I literally walked back up to the table. I couldn't tell them what happened for 15 minutes because I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my God.
I was like, man, karma is real, and thank God. And I looked like a good guy because I was so concerned. Sure. I got all the points.
Not one person here believes that this was some sort of setup for this girl, with you punching it, knowing that the door needed to be closed hard.
It really wasn't.
To tell her.
I wish it were.
We don't believe that would ever be the case.
I would love to say it was. I would own it. It was.
No,
I'm disappointed
teasing.
I didn't take it. I could have totally made that happen.
No, I'm messing with you.
And so that's the one person I've hurled from a vehicle. But speaking of looking in the rear view and seeing and going, oops.
Yeah.
I borrowed my brother's pickup truck, the same truck that we had used to move a mattress a few years later. I was just driving on a highway in Atlanta, and he had a camper top attached to the back, and it was improperly attached to the back. As I found out, driving along at 70 miles an hour, and it just left the vehicle. It completely became, it detached itself and shot straight backwards on a very busy highway. Yeah. And I looked in the rear view, see that there's a guy right behind me, and 2 seconds later, I look in the rear view, and because the same thing just says, we just hear this air change, and the camper top blew straight back off the back of the truck, but the car behind me had just changed lanes. Yeah. And this camper top, I was in the left lane, it bounced, it went straight back, bounced on the highway once, and literally shot over to the left and came to rest against the median. And the fact that it didn't hit another car or two or three, and the fact that it didn't kill someone it's miraculous, truly. And it just came to rest off the road against the median. And I'm watching all that in my rear view, and I spent 20 seconds staring in the rearview mirror in shock. Easily could have rear-ended somebody in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, suddenly I'm like, oh, my God, I'm not even looking in front of me. And I just thought that's the craziest thing that I've ever seen. There's no way I can go back and get it. I'm on a road that's like 6-lane
Somebody
interstate.
Will pick it up.
And I got to. I was going to visit a friend, and I got there, and I called my brother, and I said, "Hey, you're not going to believe this, man, but that camper top just blew off." And what did you do? He's yelling at me. I said, "I drove your truck. That's what I did, and I almost killed somebody." And then he finally, after he calmed down, he admitted. He goes, "Well, I might have put it on there wrong." I'm like, okay, maybe. Okay. You think?
Those C-clamps, you got to tighten those down. Yeah, my brother and I did that with Dad's topper. He's like, put the topper on the truck and drive it. And we were out on an old gravel road, but it completely destroyed the topper. And we got there, and there was that. Now it's in a 5 or 6 pieces in the back of the pickup, and just that, as you're driving up towards Dad and slowing down, you've got a good solid minute of his glare.
Sure.
And knowing that, you didn't clamp it down. No, we didn't.
Tony, you seem like the kind of guy that would have had something or someone fly out of a car in your reckless, wild days of abandon, no?
Yeah, my little cousin, Ross, one time in the back of the station wagon.
But I just, by the way, took a total flyer here, and then it's not only is it someone, it's your cousin. What happened?
He went tumbling. Yeah,
ran out of a car?
The back, station wagon. The kids would just be like marbles rolling around,
sure.
no restraints. And it popped up out. He went, and he took a good roll, but he was okay. Yeah. Brushed him off, threw him back in.
That's a good point. And you talked about that gal you gave a ride. We weren't wearing seatbelts back then very often, right?
No.
I often tell the story that back in the 70s when Dad would buy a new car or something like that, he would take the seatbelts out because they were just in the way. You were constantly moving them, and
wow.
So he just would unbolt them from the freaking floors or whatever and throw them in a pile. But
I saw a seatbelt. They showed us a film at school when I was in first grade about seatbelts.
Yeah,
and I look back now.
Johnny goes through the windshield.
Yeah, I look back now and realize, that was still at a time when this was a new thing, and they were trying to really impress upon people the importance of seatbelts. And so whatever it was that happened, it hit me hard. I was suddenly, you have to wear seatbelts. I was the seatbelt cop in my family. And my older siblings are like, shut up, dude. I'm not wearing a seatbelt.
I know.
Like, just within one family, the difference was so stark. My older brother, Tom, would look at me and go, would you shut up? And I'm like, but you have to put your seatbelt on, Tom. And I'd wear mine. I'd be in the back seat. He would go, you're wearing a seatbelt in the back seat. He couldn't believe it, you know.
Oh, yeah. And it seems like now it's just an afterthought. You never think about it when you drive, you know, unless you're out hunting or something like that and getting tossed around the cab. Then that gets a little uncomfortable because those things lock and you know, your collarbone gets slammed all the time. But, yeah, you don't even think about it anymore. But back then, the resistance to it was fierce, I remember. I had to get a $100 ticket right here in good old Minnesota when they went with the click it or ticket because I'm not wearing a seatbelt, $100 ticket. You know what? I'll give it a shot. And then like a week later, I never even thought anything of it. And so stupid not to. But, you know, you live and you learn.
It's if I get in the car to just move it around in a parking lot, I put the seatbelt. It's really weird. Like
it's automatic.
It's just so automatic. I've gotten much better about turn signals. Those were not automatic for me for a long time.
Yeah.
And I look back and I just feel like an idiot. Like I had this whole thing of like, I don't need turn signals. Why? I mean, it's the dumbest thing. It's the dumbest thing
I
ever.
don't do turn
Rosemary
signals.
used to just crush me on that.
Or
She's like,
illogical
what is wrong
defiance.
with you?
Yeah, just, you know, pick your battles.
And I would say, I'm in the lane. It's a right turn only lane. She's like, it doesn't matter. No one else is reading signs.
I'm going to go ahead and argue with you on that. Unless you're switching lanes, you do not have to hit the turn signal. Yeah, because I mean, if you're actually taking a right turn, but I mean, if the lane just exits off and you're already in the lane, I see people do that.
Sure,
hit their turn signal, which is fine. You know, overuse your turn signal. Who cares? What's the big deal? But I don't. You don't. I think you need to use it then. But I nitpick now.
You know the street in San Francisco, the world famous Lombard Street?
The winding one?
It's just an S curve nonstop all the way down. I have driven down it once, and I kept using the signals the whole time just to annoy it. I just did it the whole time because I thought someone is watching this car and either laughing or going, look at that idiot. But I had to do it the whole time.
Yeah, I think of Monty. Every time we'd road trip all the time, and someone would just leave theirs on going down the road.
Yeah.
And he would just pull up beside them. I'm like, who cares that their signal is on? He goes, well, it's just been on for like 5 miles. It's bothering me. Well, I don't know. Take a nap. Kick the seat back. Look at a magazine.
When we were in the touring around in the van days and van and truck, the gear and the T-shirts were all in like a rider truck, and then we were in the van, and we had CB radios to communicate between the two. You know? And
what's your 20?
And the guy driving the truck, our T-shirt guy, would always drive stoned. He was just, you know, because he'd be in the great. I've been doing it for years. Very responsible driver. But the one thing he would do is he'd leave his turn signal on. He'd change lanes, and it would just be sitting there because he'd be listening to music and driving. And we just get on the CB, and the signal was always like, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid. And then like 40 seconds of that, and then finally you'd see it go off. And then the next time he'd make a lane change, it would come on again. And we'd just sit there. It was fantastic. But we used to communicate, talk about stuff, and we would to determine what channel to go to on the CB.
Yeah.
One of us, if you wanted to switch channels, you just call out an athlete. And the question is, does he know the athlete's number? You know, like you'd say Ripken means channel 6 because he wore number 6. You know, Dr. J, whatever it is, you know, or 8. I should say Dr. J 6. You just, Yeah, it's the kind of thing you do. You're just trying to annoy. You're just trying to keep yourself amused and awake and not so stoned.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I get it. I recall.
That was in the days. The one time, and that's not true. 2 times in my life ever, I drove with marijuana in my system, and they both ended very. No one got hurt. No arrests. No tickets.
Yeah.
But I would be driving, and I would be approaching a red light. And I would feel like I'd already gotten there and stopped, and then I would still be approaching it. And I'd be like, oh, I thought I already stopped here. And then I'm still getting closer. Yeah. And I'd be like, I thought I already stopped at this light. I mean, it would just be like truly my brain's tripping moments of time. And then when I finally would stop, I would put the car in park every time. Like, I'm stopped, right? And that only happened twice. And both times people are like, get out of the car.
Yeah, that's such a high thing to say, too. I had marijuana in my system.
Oh, man. It was the worst.
The old Cheech and Chong line. Was it up in smoke? Hey, man, am I driving okay? I think we're parked, man.
I think we're parked, man. Father's Day right around the corner.
Yeah,
hey. There's I'm looking at 1, 2, 3 fathers right here in this room. As
full
we
of
speak.
dads around here.
So
filthy with dads.
The SATs are just an absolute nightmare for everybody. The F.A.T. way better. The Father Aptitude Test. We're gonna put. We're gonna put to the test how well our kids know us. We're gonna be doing this throughout the week. First up, Taylor Zepp,
which is weird because I only met her recently. We've been estranged most of our lives, but we got together and shared a few things. So I think she's getting to know me.
We're going to play our version of it's based loosely on the Newlywed Game.
Great.
But instead of what I'm going to say is let's bring out the child to see if they predicted what you'd say.
We're not using the word whoopee, are we?
We're not using the word whoopee.
Thank God.
When your father is making whoopee, can you imagine? No, we're not doing that.
When your mom and dad.
No
conception
Round
stories.
1 of the F.A.T.s up next. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zepp, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, June the 10th, Father's Day this Sunday. A special day, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to it. I always do.
Very, 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 very nice. So throughout the week, we're gonna be brushing up on the F.A.T.s, not the S.A.T.s, the F.A.T.s, the Father Aptitude Test. We're gonna put our own kids to the test and see how well they know us, or maybe how well we know ourselves, or how much we're kidding ourselves, as it were. But we thought we'd have some fun. We're gonna bring on all of our kids throughout the week. Day 1 up first, we're going to have the Zepp kids.
Yes, Taylor.
Isn't that exciting?
Just Taylor will be joining us.
Taylor. Nice. Taylor Zepp, are you with us?
Do you think, Taylor, you there, kiddo?
Yep.
All right.
Good morning. Are you still lying down in bed right now?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay. All right.
Sitting upright and everything. So proud.
I am. I'm fully sitting on the couch.
Hey, you grabbed 2 fistfuls of the day already. Very well. It's time to focus, Taylor. So I think you know what's happening. We're going to take a page from the old Newlywed Game. We're going to ask you some questions about your old man, and then he's not going to be listening to this section of the show. Then he'll come back in, and we'll compare answers. We'll see how well you each think you know Brian Zepp.
Right.
All right.
Don't
game
embarrass
on.
me. Do not embarrass me.
Game on.
Again.
All right, game on.
All right, I'm going to check out. Good luck, kiddo.
All right, so I'm going to start. I got 10 questions here. We'll see if we can get to all of them. Taylor, first things first. What's your dad's favorite band?
Oh, you guys would go with this one first. This is so funny because I would say he answers this question differently every single time he's ever answered it for me.
Okay.
I would say all-time favorite artist, Bruce Springsteen, but I think I might have to do a lifeline and phone my sister on this one because I'd be interested to hear what her answer is.
Well, if you can make that happen quickly, if you want to come back with it, I mean, however you want to play it. But we're putting that down.
Give me a second here. I'm working on it.
All right, we're working on it.
You can go with Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow, yeah, that's my dad's. No, I would say Bruce Springsteen for that one. Let's go with Bruce Springsteen all time, but different answer every time.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right.
I think I got Sydney. If you want to chime in, Sydney, what's your dad's favorite band?
Favorite band? I'm gonna have to go with The Replacements.
Oh, okay. I like that one. All right, nobody's ever confused one for the other, so I look forward to hearing the answer. All right, next up, what's your dad's favorite movie?
Favorite movie, Dumb and Dumber. Movie. Dumb and Dumber for sure. I watched that movie millions of times. With that man. No, it's not. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Okay, all right, we're gonna take it. First answer in gets it. All right, let's see. Name your dad's all-time favorite athlete.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Bodie Miller? I don't know. I don't even know any athletes. It'd be a football player.
That's kind of where I was at.
Maybe a skier. What's that one skier? That girl's from Minnesota? You'd be so disappointed at our name.
Lindsey Vonn.
I know who we're talking about.
yes.
I'm not going to say her name only because.
Lindsey Vonn.
Okay, all right, that's a good one. Let's see. Next up, what was the coolest car, truck, or motorcycle your dad has ever owned?
For sure is Eva Knievel Harley Davidson. He likes that bike more than
Harley,
he likes me at times.
but I don't know any more specifics than that, I guess.
All right, we'll take it. I got an answer out of there. That's going to work. All right.
All right.
How about this? What's the most trouble your dad ever got into as a kid before he turned 18? What was the worst thing he ever got in trouble for?
Gosh, I've heard so many stories. I remember there was this one time that he got kicked off the track team. What did he do? He was like in a
kid. I don't know if I have an answer for
contest with his friends.
I mean, he was always getting into trouble on his motorcycle,
from the mall,
little dirt bike that he had.
Okay. Hey, girl, hold on. Girl, I got to stop you girls.
They're blabby. It's stunning.
You're talking at the same time, and I guess you can't hear each other. So
I cannot.
Sorry.
Sydney, we're going to put you on hold for a second. We'll let Taylor answer.
All right. So right now, Taylor, give me your answer to that question.
I would say the time he was in a contest with his buddies to see who could steal the most expensive thing from the mall, and he stole speakers. And before that, he stole like a knife to cut the speakers out of the display. So I would say that one. He got kicked off the track team for it.
That is awesome. All right, beautiful. All right, that's great. Okay, let's. All right, next one. Did you ever get busted for lying to your dad? And if so, what was the story?
I mean, yes, several times. I would say the one where he had my back the most, he would probably agree on this. We still talk about it, was when I got caught cheating on a test and failed math at the end of high school and convinced him that I didn't cheat because it was summer and I was grounded. So he went in and there was meetings with the vice principal and he argued with them to have my back and he knew I was lying the whole time. And I would for sure say that one, but he argued with them so much that they ended up giving me my grade on the test and believing me instead.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so if anyone's just joining us, we are playing Fatherly Aptitude Test. Brian, Zepp's $2. Taylor and Sydney are on the horn answering questions, and then we're going to bring Brian back in a moment to see how alike their answers are. If we can, let's have Sydney answer this next one. What's your dad's number one pet peeve? Everyone laughed at that suggestion, like there's one. Are you with us, Sid?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Sydney, what's your dad's number one pet peeve? Like, what drives him insane?
Lines. I would say lines. Waiting in line.
Oh, okay. I like that one. Very good. All right. All right, next one. We'll keep this one with Sydney. What's your dad's go-to drink order at the bar?
Oh, old-fashioned.
Okay. Boy, there's no hesitation on some of these. It's great. All right, we got two left. So, Sydney, this will be the last one I ask of you. What's the coolest thing you've ever gotten to do because of your dad's job?
Oh, there's a lot. Coolest thing. Sorry, this is a tough one.
Yeah, sure.
You know, I mean, just the number of concerts alone. I'd say the Rolling Stones concert.
All right. Excellent answer. All right. Now let's go back. Taylor, final question. What will your dad say is the ultimate Father's Day gift?
That's a good one.
Say that one again.
What will Zepp say is the ultimate Father's Day gift for him? What's your dad's ultimate Father's Day gift?
Me. Not Sydney, me. No, but the ultimate Father's Day gift we got him would definitely be if we got him like this custom animation Simpsons cartoon photo of us sitting on the Simpsons couch. He'd for sure say that.
Okay, great. All right, we've got 10 questions. We've got 10 answers. Let's get Zepp back on the horn here.
Let's bring him back.
Here, let's bring out the host to see if they predicted what you'd say.
First of all, those answers took a long time. I'm a little worried about that. Secondly, I'm not sure I know the answers to most of these questions about me. This should be interesting. And we have both the galleys with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Taylor, Sid.
We're gonna
ladies. Good morning.
We're gonna run down these, and for this first one, we do have 2 answers to the first question.
Oh boy,
we've got Taylor and Sydney. So Zepp, first question: favorite band.
I'm surprised there's only 2 answers because every time you ask me, I come up with a different answer.
We did hear that.
Is that one of the answers?
No, that's not. But we were told it's always different.
Well, the Replacements right off the top.
Bam!
I guess I got to go there.
There you have it.
You know, and then I went through a huge Springsteen phase when I was younger. Yeah.
That's both.
Way to go, daughter.
Yeah, Taylor said Bruce and Sydney said Replacements.
They've heard me talk about both those artists quite a bit.
All right, very good. Boy, flying colors here.
That was the longest one. I'm like, what's taking them so long to answer that question?
All right, what is your dad's favorite movie? Zepp?
Oh, Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
Oh yeah, my God, they were raised on it. In fact, when it first came out, Taylor and I watched it 20 nights in a row. Sydney was just a baby, and Taylor was like 3.
It's just a milk run. Yeah. All right, favorite athlete.
Oh,
all-time favorite athlete.
All-time, probably Jack Lambert, middle linebacker, Pittsburgh Steelers, number 58.
Oh, really wanted to give you that one.
Oh, what did we come up with?
We came up with Lindsey Vonn.
Oh, well, I mean, I was a big fan of Lindsey Vonn, but...
Yeah, sorry.
Nope. They're just guessing a ski person. This is the only skier they know.
They were tried.
All right, this might be a tough one. Coolest car, truck, or motorcycle you've ever owned?
Oh, well, that's my FXDI 35i Harley Davidson. They call it the Evel Knievel bike.
Bingo!
Because it's the anniversary of the Evel Knievel bike from 1971.
Wow.
No doubt about that.
3 for 4. The Zepp kids know their old man.
I told them I wanted to be buried on that, and Sydney said, screw that, I'll ride it to your funeral.
All right, this is we're off and rolling. How about this? What's the most trouble you ever got into as a kid under the age of 18?
I was thinking about this one. I don't know. I mean, I know I've used it as a cautionary tale with the girls, so they've probably heard about the time, because it was easily the most disappointed I think my dad was in me ever. So I get in a lot of trouble. I know that's hard to believe. But probably my freshman year, I got caught shoplifting. I've talked about this during track season and was ratted out. And so probably that whole shoplifting thing got kicked off the team. What did they come up with?
That's it, baby.
Oh, did you guys
contest to see who could steal the most expensive thing from the mall.
Did you really? Okay. Oh, yeah, that was it. I won, by the way, but I lost, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Ladies.
You don't have to say that. They're adults. They know you're full of it. All right, man. This is awesome.
Oh.
4 for 5.
All right. What else you got?
All right. How about this? Did you ever get busted lying to your dad? What happened? I believe Taylor answered this one, I believe.
Did Taylor ever lie to me?
Did you ever get busted lying to your dad?
Couple of times, but the big one was when I had to go to school. She was caught cheating on a test, and I went to the mat for that girl. And at the end of I remember we're sitting there in the meeting with the principal and the teacher, and by the time the teacher had laid out all the evidence, I thought to myself, she frickin' cheated. She lied to me. She lied to me, but then I told the teacher, I said, well, here's the deal. You're the teacher, and if I disagree with you, you're just going to think I'm a jerk and a bad dad. But if I disagree with her and she didn't cheat, she's going to hold it against me for the rest of my life.
That's right.
So she wins, you lose, and the teacher went, oh, okay. And then I think still gave you a 0.
Yeah. Wow. 5 for 6.
That was a big one.
This is what a terror. The Zepp family is all in sync. This is great. All right, how about this? What is your dad's top pet peeve?
Waiting. I hate to wait. Is that what they said?
Yeah.
We went into, there were 2 Father's Days where we walked into a restaurant and they said, it'll be about a 15, 20-minute wait. Sounds good. Well, I missed when they called my name. They said, well, it'll just be another 15 minutes longer. I'm like, let's go, girls. If I had to wait for them, waiting is a big one. I do not like to wait.
Wow. I'm already...
You guys got that one, huh? I do throw a fit.
That one's obvious.
By the way, some of these without hesitation. They were just like, boom.
Waiting.
Like this. Okay, how about this? What's your dad's go-to drink order at the bar?
Well, J-Mo on the rocks, or these days, past few years, it's been an old-fashioned.
There you go.
An old-fashioned. Yeah, I just had one for Taylor.
Just this morning.
Yeah, just this morning. while Taylor and Sydney were answering the questions, I had an old-fashioned.
It's fantastic. Okay, what's the coolest thing you've gotten to do because of your dad's job? Sydney answered this one.
Oh, well, concerts. Concert tickets,
That's
I guess.
right, but there was one specific.
Lollapalooza or what? I don't know. Which one was it? I don't know. What was it?
The answer was Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. We went and saw the Stones and the limo and the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but, I still feel like we got to give you half a point for that one because everybody said concerts right off the bat.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so.
All right, ladies.
All right, so one more to go.
Oh, okay.
What will your dad say is the ultimate Father's Day gift?
That they've gotten me?
Sure.
Well, who else would have, I guess? My other family. It sits on my desk at home. It's they got me a character of The Simpsons. We're all in Simpsons characters sitting on The Simpsons couch.
It's amazing.
Yeah, those are. I do love it. In fact, Taylor said after that, she's like, "You're not getting any more Father's Day presents. We've peaked." And you were right. That's a good one.
I like that. Good job, Dad. Just lay it in there underneath. Well, my man, listen. We asked 10 questions. We asked 10 questions. We let the first one have 2 possible answers. You hit both of those.
All right.
So it's technically a 9 out of 11.
Yeah.
What a run.
How do you beat that?
That's rule.
I was setting the bar way too high.
And good morning, Sydney. Are you there, Sid?
I'm here.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
You're up early.
I know. I got up for this.
Wow.
Outstanding. Well, thank you, ladies. This is my Father's Day gift.
I was going to say, that's the new ultimate Father's Day gift.
Yeah.
You both got out of bed and called in it before 9 a.m.
I can't do any better than that. Wow. That's fun.
Well, I got to say, ladies, that was a sterling effort.
Hell yeah.
You guys are all, it says a lot of things. One of those things, maybe your dad only has like 9 or 10 things to talk about. You just heard them all your whole life. But I do feel it's a little bit more like you've all been paying attention. So very well done.
So we had to do good on a little bit of time. We were intimidated.
You're both still in the will.
Man, that is outstanding. Well, we can't thank you enough for taking part in this. The first ever F.A.T. Day on the KQ Morning Show. Very well done, Taylor and Sydney. Thanks.
Thank you. Happy Father's Day, you guys. Oh.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Oh, man. Zepp, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. I'll tell you what. I saw the questions this morning. Apparently, Ryder sent me an email.
Yeah.
And I looked at them. I'm like, I don't know half of these. Yeah. And I know the girls probably don't know them. But then the ones you picked are pretty good. There were some obvious answers in there. Yeah, that goddamn going into the teachers thing. I'm like, she freaking. I remember right before we walked into the school, I said, all right, now Taylor, listen, I've cheated on tests. We've all done it. But now we're going in to talk to the teacher. So now's the time. She's like, Dad, I did not. I'm like, all right, we're going to go in there. We're going to fight this thing together.
Yeah.
And he's laying it out. And I'm like, that little she cheated.
Yeah.
I knew it. And then later, sometime after that, she confessed. I'm like, I know you did, but you could have let me in on it. But yeah, that one, that's fun.
That's fantastic. I knew my daughter was way on a whole nother level when she was probably 7. And I was in the morning, the 2 kids, they're 7 and 9, and my son mouthed off about something, and I turned around and I said, they're eating breakfast and we got to get to school and eat your breakfast and get ready and let's get out. And then as I started to leave, he said something else and I turned back and I just lit him up. And then the second time I walk out of the room, I hear my daughter go, just tell him what he wants to hear and he'll leave soon.
That's
I
wise.
spun around on my heel and I said, what? And Marley goes, what? I go, what did you just say? She goes, I didn't say anything. Dead serious. Looked me in the eye. She was 7, and she was already. And my son has It's funny because he's a pretty good poker player, but he has no poker face.
No.
He could no sooner look me in the eye and lie at that age than, and she's just like, what? I didn't say a word. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to win with this kid.
Oh, no kidding. They figure us out pretty quick, too, especially
boy.
those daughters. All right, who's up next? Who's coming in tomorrow? Or who's up tomorrow? I can't wait to get one of you guys on the hot seat.
I think tomorrow is going to be a Gorman. One or two of the Gorman children will be on tomorrow.
Connell is locked in for tomorrow.
Oh,
for Tony Lee, I'm getting my own buzzer sound effect, mister.
All right, I'm ready. You're going to be using it a lot.
Jeez, man.
Well, your boys are. Yeah, I mean, if the girls were teenagers, I think they would have been like 1 for 10 because that's just you're aloof, you know. And then you're like, now you have to think about your parents. I think the girls being 31 and 27 now, you're a little more locked in, and you know you have a better sense of mom and dad.
I know I'm still just the weird blob at this point.
That's outstanding.
They wouldn't have done it if they were teenagers. They'd been like, no, I'm not doing it. No.
Hey, we would love to send you to see Motley Crue at the Louder Than Life Festival this fall. One winner is going to score a trip for 2 to Louisville, Kentucky for Louder Than Life 24, featuring 4 days of rock with Motley Crue and a bunch of other great bands. Text the national keyword Motley. Motley, Motley to 95819 right now to enter for your chance to win. I'm in a good workout zone lately. Last few weeks, I'm back on my game.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm already feeling better. I can't say I look better, but it's right around the corner. I'm going to keep it up. And now, wow, check this out: the top 5 workouts for your sex life. I'm going to read up on this, and I'll share what I find out when we get back. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, June the 10th. Good morning. Zepp is angry.
Oh, my computer screen here. It's one of these state-of-the-art computer screens in 1988.
Yeah, but you're angry over the Twins.
Oh, the new uniforms. Yeah, my computer screen, it's gone funky here on me, but probably because of these new Twins uniforms. Tony, have you seen these things?
The City Connect.
Yeah, just City Connect uniforms are not, no.
It's a uniform they will wear 10 times throughout the season. So the Baltimore, I have an Orioles City Connect jersey from last year that a guy with the team sent me, but now I'm seeing the Twins City Connect for the first time, and yeah, I'm with you. No, go back to the drawing board, guys.
Yeah, swing and a miss, strike 1.
It's the wrong colors.
It's the wrong colors.
It's like the state flag. It's like the new state flag, sort of.
Yeah.
It's more like a state connect than a city connect.
Yeah. What's the yellow? What's with all the yellow? Now my screen's gone funky. I can't see it anymore. But
well, that's good news for you because I'm still looking at it over here and it's kind of bugging me.
Yeah. No.
I mentioned that I'm back on the workout tip. Feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Top 5 workouts for your sex life. Are you ready for these? I mean, there are certain things you can do that do help you, apparently, in the bedroom.
I think.
What's that?
Sex is the workout.
Well, that's kind of where I was coming from. But if you're looking for increased arousal, do cardio. Things like running and cycling help increase blood flow, including blood flow in the front office. That's very important for men, especially as they age.
Sex parties. Now they have a pill for that now.
We're all getting older. I mean, it's just something to think about.
Have a seat on the couch and take a boner pill.
For women as well, a recent study found that 20 minutes of cycling led to a 170% increase in below-the-belt circulation for some women.
All right.
Get on the cycle.
I mean, it's good for a lot of things. All right, cardio. Got it.
To make the end result of sex more intense, do yoga.
All right.
Yoga.
Flexibility.
I guess.
Yeah.
This says it helps strengthen your pelvic muscles. Kegels, which are known as, which men also have, by the way. Yoga poses that include yoga moves that include the warrior pose and any lunges work the best.
That's all part of my routine.
Yeah.
Kama Sutra.
Yeah,
I said karma. Kama Sutra.
It's funny because I noticed that I see sometimes during foreplay I will jump out of bed and bust out a warrior pose, and that gets me more excited and her less excited. So it's a balance. balance.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
To your point about flexibility, Tony, this says if you want to be more flexible and be able to get into more crazy positions, actually go with Pilates. Helps with flexibility in the hips, abs, back, and glutes.
All right, what is that again? Is that just a lot of stretching and lunging?
It's
Pilates?
I don't know. You're laying down, you're working your abs. There's a machine they put you on, the Reformer, I believe it's called. It's a German thing.
I love that position.
Well, we talked earlier. The Germans love their nudity, so Pilates, that makes sense.
Okay.
If you want to make the missionary position easier, work on your push-ups because, of course, that strengthens your chest and triceps. Easy to hold yourself up for an extended period of time.
It's already one of the easiest positions.
Yeah,
it's no rusty trombone, but all right, just all right, a little push-ups, huh?
Finally, if you want to up your overall endurance, high-intensity interval training. For example, get on a bike or treadmill, go as hard as you can for 30 to 60 seconds, then slow down to a gentle pace for a minute or two, and repeat the process up to 10 times. If I do that on the treadmill today, I guarantee you one person at least will look over at me and go, getting ready for a sack, huh?
All right, Steve,
if you need all that endurance, you don't know what you're doing.
That guy's sprinting for 40 seconds, then he's walking for 2 minutes, then he's sprinting for 40 seconds. Oh, I know what he's doing. He's pushing 60. Yeah, no thanks. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, it seems to work, and things get better, when you're with someone for a while, you kind of figure it out. It's efficient.
If you're fantasizing about being better in the sack, there you have a list of things in front of you can try. If you're fantasizing about workplace perks that you wish you had, this is a bizarre survey asking people what perks do you wish you had at work. The 10 most popular answers. I don't know. It's kind of number one, bonuses, especially around the holidays. Well, that makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Everybody likes a bonus.
Yeah, especially around the holidays.
Number two, automatically getting a vacation day on your birthday.
Is this grade school?
Thank you. My daughter's birthday is, let me check. Today. She's 22. I said to her a couple days ago, I said, hey, birthday coming up. And she was like, yeah, it's 22. I mean, who cares? She goes, last year was big.
She gets it.
And I'm like, that's my girl right there. I told my kids, I said 13's good, you're a teenager. 16's good, you're 16.
Yeah.
21, and then you're on your own. Then if it's got a 0 after it, cool. But otherwise, it's whatever. It happens.
I mean, nobody feels great about 30 because you're out of your 20s. And listen, hey, I loved my 30s more than my 20s, my 40s more than my 30s, and I'm rocking the 50s as far as I'm concerned. But I wasn't excited about turning 40. I wasn't excited about turning 50. But yeah, you're right. 21, that's the last whoop and holler and have a good time.
I don't remember 40 or 50 really doing it. We had a big party. My wife threw a big 50th for me. That was cool. That party was fun, but the idea, and of course we waited, it was like 3 months after my birthday, but it was kind of like, why have a ton of people come to Nashville when it's 112 degrees in August?
We did a big one for Dad when he was 70, and he had the same thought. He said, I wish we would have done this when I was like 40. He goes, because we had people coming from all over the country, and he's like, I just kind of want to go to bed early, but now I'm too old to enjoy it, and everybody's whooping it up.
Rachel threw me a massive surprise party at 40. That was amazing.
Yeah, no kidding. So 40, you're still, roaring like a lion. You still got plenty of fight left in you.
We had a big blowout, a surprise for my mom on her 70th. And at the time, we're all like, I mean, she's 70. We better do this now. She turned 96 last year.
Yeah, it's going strong.
And I have 3 siblings who have since turned 70. And it's like, they're like, why were we thinking she was old? I mean, they're all, I don't know. It's a little different.
I remember being 20 and I went out on a date with a 29-year-old and my friends were freaked out. I'm like, I know, she's 29. It's so old.
When I do remember my 30th birthday and feeling a lot, and I didn't have anything like, oh my God, I'm 30, I'm old. I felt great relief, and I was surprised to actually feel that. I thought like, oh my God, I made it. I'm out of my 20s. The last half of my 20s was pretty intense. It was pretty heady, just on tour the whole time.
Yeah.
And I guess I had a subconscious fear, like, I'm just going to off myself. Like, or just, I mean, not on purpose, but, you're like, Like, hey, man, we're living.
Better to burn out than fade away.
Yeah, we're living kind of hard out here. And I turned 30, and it's like I gave myself permission to, like, just stop, just get over it all. Just do what you want. Just be yourself.
Attaboy.
You know, like, just really, I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't care about peer pressure or trying to be cool. I was like, whew, screw all you guys. Let's see. Here's another one, people. This is number 3 on the list of the perks people wish they had at work. An endless supply of snacks. What?
Well, I mean, that is nice. Have you been down to the snack machine? What is it, $25 for a bag of chips?
Okay,
now?
I can see it.
Yeah.
It's the endless part that got me.
Endless, yeah.
Well, because if they bring in a bowl and then you grab something from the bowl and you go in and you sit at your cube or your office in the shop, wherever, you're worried about, everybody's going out there now. They're probably grabbing 2. I should have grabbed 2. They're all going to be gone. Endless just means that they're always going to be there for you.
You can graze.
Yes.
I guess that's what that means. All right, one more. And I've just here. One more is free meals, either breakfast, lunch, or both. I would take free breakfast here for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Every time we hit the 9 bells, all I'm thinking about is food.
Yeah, if we could turn off the mics every day about 10 till 10 and walk out and there's a hot breakfast buffet waiting for us, that'd be pretty great.
Thank you.
Let's put that down for the next meeting. The idea box.
Well, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other.
Well, I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna put that suggestion. I'll write it in crayon.
Right.
Breakfast buffet. Please. Earlier in the show, we were talking about bizarre comments people have said to you on the street, which there's a lot of those in life. We've had some great texts and messages on the Facebook page, and more than a few have come from people being mistaken for celebrities.
Yeah.
I have one of my childhood, my closest friends from high school. Their dad, the late great Richard Schaus, was a truck driver, and he looked like and didn't do anything to not look like Roy Orbison.
Oh, well, yeah, why not?
And for years, he signed many a Roy Orbison autograph. I mean, he had the shades, the hair, the whole thing. And even after Roy Orbison died, people, word gets around slowly, especially pre-internet, but for years, he'd be, he's a trucker, he's on the road, and he'd be somewhere at a truck stop, and someone would walk, Mr. Orbison, and when he was a younger guy, he would say, that's not me, and people wouldn't believe him.
I wonder if that's who I saw when I was working the highway crew.
He just started signing after a while. I was like, screw it. I'll just be Roy Orbison. Bob texted in, I was the malt cup seller / vendor at the Metrodome in the mid-'80s. I was done after a Twins game. The vendors would leave through the same tunnel as the players. And a young boy asked for my autograph thinking I was a Minnesota Twin player. I told him I was the malt cup guy and insisted he get my autograph. So I signed Bob the malt cup guy.
I hope he still has it.
He does. And Bob, by the way, was with us in Anoka, and it was good to see you, Bob. Thank you for coming out, brother. On the Facebook page, there was a few. A woman said I was in Greece, and some other Americans mistook me for Meryl Streep.
All right.
And in Greece, that's the Mamma Mia movie is in Greece, right?
That's right. Yeah. So yeah.
So that's Regina posted that. What she didn't say was I was drunkenly singing ABBA songs on Ouzo at 3 a.m. That's probably the part that probably played a big part in that.
What if she sounded like Meryl Streep? That would be an insult.
And then speaking of celebrity lookalikes, a man in Knox County, Tennessee, that's where Knoxville is, if you will. First responders were called. There was a disturbance at a Hobby Lobby. Do you have Hobby Lobby up here?
Yeah, they're
big
right?
craft store.
Craft store, sure. Beads.
A man was standing outside the store screaming for help. Apparently, he was intoxicated. Deputies arrived. Dude took off. They finally caught up to him. He was unsteady on his feet. He did smell a lot like both alcohol and urine. He's 47 years old. Police said, listen, we need to talk to you. Do you know who you are? And he said, yeah, I know who I am. I'm Garth Brooks. He insisted several times, I am Garth Brooks.
The Garth Brooks, right.
He was trying to get out of their control. He spat on the sheriff's deputies a few times. Garth Brooks would never, he'd kick you in the shins, but he wouldn't spit in your face. He's more underhanded, that
right.
Garth Brooks.
Might give you a wedgie. He's not going to spit on you.
For the record, there is a mugshot, but I think I know where the guy was confused. Okay, he does not look a thing like Garth Brooks.
He only has one chin.
But he kind of looks like a young Levon Helm. And Levon Helm, of course, from the band, was famously in the band with the great Garth Hudson on keyboards. I think there's something to be said for that.
He was thinking Garth Hudson.
Garth.
I would bet you're wrong.
Let me tell you something. If a guy's drunk and getting arrested and he's telling the police, "You don't understand, I'm Garth Hudson," I'm doing my best to spring that guy. Good pull, dude.
Let's get him out of there.
That's fantastic. One last comment on the Facebook page, just because it's lovely. Leslie wrote, walking back from lunch downtown Minneapolis in 1992 with a 4+ year work friend. A homeless guy walked right up to us and said, "Just stop pretending you're not in love." We were married less than a year later and have 4 children.
Whoa.
It was that obvious.
Wow, what a line.
Cupid's homeless and a drunk.
Yeah,
apparently.
That's exactly how that
All
works. Right. That's pretty nice. That just reminded me, I do remember, and this was something I literally felt bad about. You know in the movie No Country for Old Men, when the main guy, played by Josh Brolin,
Yes.
He finds himself at that scene where the shootout goes down. And then he leaves the guy by the tree, takes the money, goes home that night, and he can't get it out of his head that there's a man been shot up against a tree. And he decides, I'm going to go back at midnight and bring the guy some water.
Mistake.
Yeah, it's just, big mistake. Yeah. I had a similar experience where I mouthed off to a homeless guy once, being funny, and it ate me alive. I felt bad. But here's the deal. Walking down the street in New York City, there's a group of us, and this guy was sitting there, and he jumped to his feet, and he pointed right at me, and he goes, "Money, here!" That's how he asked me for money. He said, "Money,
right to the point."
And my response was to take out my wallet, and I went, no, money here. And then I just kept walking. And it got a laugh from everybody, and then I immediately was like, what kind of asshole does that? This poor guy.
I just showed him my big
poor
wallet.
guy. And then I thought and we went to a bar on a corner, and the whole time we were there, I was like, I should go back and give that guy some money.
He's not going to get a hot shower and a shave. And go down and turn his life around.
You know, sometimes you just go for the quick punchline, and then you feel bad for it. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now that it's off my chest, I realize.
All right.
Whatever. He's fine.
He's fine.
I didn't like kick the guy. I could have probably given him a horse.
No, not at all. You never know.
This guy yelled at me.
I've told the story going down to the Twins game with a friend of mine, and she has a bottle of water in her hand, and we're going through the parking there under the overpass by the Twins stadium. We're down in one of those lots, and there's a guy down there. It's like 90-some degrees, middle of July, and he's got like 5 coats on, big wool coats. He's got to just be cooking in there, and we're walking past. I don't know, get about 10 yards past him, and she said, "I'm going to give him this bottle of water." I said, "Don't get involved.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. Don't get involved." I'm like, "No, don't." She goes, "No, I'm just going to set the bottle of water down beside him." I said, "All right." So we start to walk back, and she gets a couple of steps ahead of me, and she leans down and offers him the bottle. I said, "Don't offer him. Just set the bottle down."
Yeah.
He pulls open the coats and exposes himself. She leaves the bottle of water and goes, "Oh, gosh." Starts walking back to me, and he whipped the bottle at her and hit her right between the shoulder blades. Damn. She's just shaking her head. I'm like, it's just, he's not there probably because of a tough hop in life. It's some mental illness or whatever, but
there was one wild moment on the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota in 1992. My band, the Black Crowes, we started our American tour here, so we had a couple nights of production rehearsal and then a couple nights at the Orpheum. And so we were in town for 5 or 6 nights, and we were walking. It wasn't for the first gig. I believe it was the night before the first gig. Late afternoon, walking from our hotel. I wish I knew where it was, but I can kind of imagine where we were on the street. But we were heading towards the Orpheum, and I was walking. There was a few guys in the band. Our singer, Chris, was right in front of me. And from like all out of nowhere, over my shoulder, I just heard this like Doppler effect coming up, and we all spin in time to see a woman, a large woman. I mean, like 5'8", 5'9", not a waif.
Yeah.
Pretty thick, in a wedding dress and veil, fully decked out for a wedding.
Hello.
She jumps on my singer's back and rides him to the ground, screaming, I'm here, and she's screaming, "We're going to be married." She's completely insane person.
Well, she was ready.
She brought him down. I mean, it was Lawrence Taylor-esque, the tackle.
Yeah.
And a big security guard immediately gets her off, and she's just screaming. She's like, like, but I love you. And we're all just looking at her like, wow.
She's a P1.
That was pretty good. Best $20 I ever spent.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's look back. Oh, I'll give you something. June 10th, 1975, Yankee Stadium undergoing renovations. So the Yankees were playing at the New York Mets Shea Stadium for their home games. On June 10th, as they were celebrating the 200th anniversary of the United States Army, they brought in some guys from Fort Hamilton and Brooklyn for a 21-gun salute that involved cannons. They were supposed to fire a cannon in the outfield over the outfield wall, aimed a little too low, and it was blanks, but there's still a cartridge that ejects.
Yeah.
They blasted through the center field wall and lit it on fire at the same time. And the Yankees officials are like, well, what are you going to do except play ball? They went ahead and played the game anyway.
Sounds like an Army operation.
Yeah, it was pretty good stuff.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.